Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out to Abraham Mohammed, Adam, Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Billy Highvault, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As The Earth, Chow Yun Cat, Dank, Dave Rakia Gafford, David Wayne Foster, Owen Jennisons, Edwin Johnson, Effie Diplomat, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin, Henrik86, Jaronism, Joshua Balsimo, Kirsten Smith, Liam Nedrick, Life Is Short, Matt, Missouri Bear, Nagara, Nathan Thompson, Naibai, Guitar Craig, Renee, Rob Hunston, Sally Ballis, Silver Umbrella, Skeptic936, The Flat Earth Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock App, Texas Mike, The Flat Earth Sun, theflatearthchannel.com, The Real Gabster, Tina Baker, Tom Herkins, and Windrider got there in the end. So a massive shout out of appreciation to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now, I'm hoping that I'm joined by Anthony Riley in the G+ Hangouts. Let's just find out if he's actually in there.
Yes.
Oh, you are? Brilliant. Okay, so I'll just give the audience a bit of a background. So for the last, I don't know, hour or so, Anthony and I were discussing yesterday's show and discussing the validity of my side of the argument that you would actually need to debunk the assertion that we have a Coriolis deviation demonstration in the form of any gyroscope. Now, Anthony's position, I hope he doesn't mind me summarising it up until now, was to say that if I debunk the claim that there is a logically valid argument in the form of modus ponens, I debunk the fact that modus ponens is valid. And the way he would do it is to add the option of star rotation being another claim to be cause of the deviation in the gyro. Therefore, it can't be the singular claim they prove, or when they claim they prove it in the gyro. So that was his assertion. My point is that by leaving it on the table, you then have a situation with Anthony's debunking where you say, no, it could be star rotation, where they say, well, okay, let's look at those two options then. Let's spend 45 minutes doing a presentation on star rotation, and then spend 45 minutes doing a presentation on how Earth turn causes it, and you, the audience, can decide which is more valid. My argument being better to just debunk any claim that the gyroscope is proving Earth is rotating by demonstrating that it, the gyro, is asserted to demonstrate two reference frames, the deviation at 15 degrees being the Earth rotating underneath the spinning gyro in its fixed rotational frame. Ergo, Earth is, in their example of the gyro, a non-inertial spinning reference frame. Now, you can debunk this claimed Coriolis proof, i.e. two reference frames, by showing that you don't have two reference frames. You have only one reference frame. Now, this is where this now begins, because Anthony said, okay, well, what would they do at that point? My answer, well, they'd assert that we only have one reference frame, because that's demonstrably the case, but argue about how we don't have a Coriolis deviation, rather than the claim to be Earth spin proof that is Coriolis deviation in the form of the conservation of angular momentum. So beg the question that Earth is still spinning. In an example where Earth is spinning, the atmosphere would also spin along with it. Now that's debunked by the fact that we have multiple surface winds, north, south, east and west in direction. Therefore we definitely don't have Earth and atmosphere travelling as one. But in so arguing, me and my opponent on the globe side would be arguing with an assumption that Earth is turning and arguing about whether or not Earth and atmosphere are travelling as one with the assumption that Earth is turning. The whole point being that that is then no longer arguing about the claim to be globe Earth proof of Earth spin, because that's Coriolis deviation. That's what the gyros asserted to be showing two reference frames. So, to debunk it, you debunk that you have two reference frames on Earth. You no longer have a gyro proving Earth is spinning. It's as simple as that. How they obfuscate from there on in is up to them. claiming, well, we don't have the Coriolis deviation, the thing that's supposed to prove Earth spins, because the atmosphere travels as one, violating all sorts of natural laws, and demonstrably not the case in the surface winds. But that's what I'm going to argue when I beg the question Earth spinning in my now example of conservation of angular momentum, not Coriolis, which is the original claim to be proof of spin. We do not have two reference frames. The gyro does not prove we spin. If it did, we'd have two reference frames, and you'd have reduced flight times, drones would drift away from you, etc, etc, etc. So there you go, there's my preamble to what we wanted. So Anthony now wants to do a flow chart in terms of how this argument progresses. And I've said, fine, I'll set it for the next live show that starts in a quarter of an hour, and we can do this on air before I've sent out the link and invites to anybody else. So what do you want to do?
We have a problem. I don't know how to do the flow charts anymore on Word. I've forgotten how to do them.
You forgot? Okay. Maybe in that case, that's fine. In that case, should we do it tomorrow? And I'll just invite anybody who wants to come.
The reason why I want to do it is because if the audience have a pictorial representation of the only way that this conversation can go, and it's pictorial, that means that everybody then in future has a reference point to go back to in the debate, where they're not looking for sound, they're looking for an on-screen representation of how to deal with the gyroscope's argument, and that's what we stick to, because it can only go one way. Now, formulating it with precision words so that it has to go the only way that it can go is the intricate part. That's the hard part, and that's where we stop the argument from progressing. Now, it's the attention to the words. So like when we have the housekeeping points and the worded very carefully to be a particular thing, that's what we're gonna have to do, because you can argue all day every day about what the gyros are doing and not doing, and that's one way to defeat the argument. But Nathan rightly points out that if you say that it can be one or the other, the rumpus will just come on and spend 40 minutes trying to explain everything to do with this, that, and the other. Well, I would just stop rumpus from coming on, because I wouldn't even allow him to come on and do it. But I take his point. It just opens the door for them to start preaching their bullshit religion. But you can shut the door by doing certain things in a certain stage to steer the conversation, so that the only thing that rumpus can do is lose. And that's what we're going to try and create, an on-screen visualization of the flow that needs to take place, so that no matter what rumpus says, you come back and he's stuck. And that's the point. That's what we're trying to achieve. Setting a standard so that we can deal with the gyroscope's argument, like so that all of us can have the same point. That's what I'm hoping to achieve.
Cool.
Hey guys.
Hello, how's it going, Flatside?
Going well, that side.
It would be a lot easier if the rumpus just accepted and admitted that the gyroscopes could also be seen to be doing other things that weren't necessarily Earth turn. But because he won't ever do that, he'll only ever argue that it's Earth turn. Then we have to do this.
I don't care what gyros
concede
do.
Anything.
I don't care what gyros do. We had this conversation too just before we went on there. I couldn't care less. It's an interesting folly upon debunking any possibility that it's Earth turn as a second reference frame that's causing that drift. Upon debunking that, it's very interesting to look at that man-made device and what could be causing that anomaly. It's just an anomaly though then, isn't it? It's no longer a cast iron proof that Earth's spinning. So beyond that, it's just an interesting folly. We could discuss that with Rumpus, I suppose. Well, it's definitely not Earth turn causing it. Do you want to discuss what could be causing it? I'm pretty sure he won't be that interested.
Yeah, those are the assumptions.
Well, so long as you've debunked the idea that it's Earth turn causing that, I'm happy. That's job's a good one.
So essentially, what this is actually doing is, it's like when we beg the question with refraction or curvature, like things on the horizon or whatever. When we normally gravity arguments, if we beg the question, then you can have a really good conversation, right? What Nathan's really trying to do is stop the begging of the question point initially by stopping the argument from going anywhere. So there's no begging the question; it's just stopped from the start.
Hang on.
Hey,
What you just said is, hey, good morning. By the way, side note, I laughed my guts out listening to the beginning of yesterday's show when I kept saying, check 1, 2, check 1, 2. I played it back because I didn't know you guys were hearing me. And I felt like I was in my own eulogy after hearing it.
No, it's all good. That's what the pre-show's all about. That's checking and setting up and stuff. I don't mind
Anyway.
it. Anyway.
Anyway, I want to take Anthony's statement to task here. You can't have a really good conversation when you beg the question. That's the problem.
I like begging the question with gravity, though. I always
But then
fancy-
don't say it's a really good conversation then. How could it be a good conversation when you're begging the question and entertaining fallacies?
So I just like to see them wriggle around like a worm. I know Nathan
I know,
hates some
I know, but
people,
it's the words you use, though, is what I'm saying. Now, it is a conversation, and you are in a situation where you're playing like a cat with a mouse.
yeah.
That I do agree. That's what it is, but it's not a really good conversation.
Well, I don't know. I quite like asking Brenda where the horizon is, and she puts the horizon like in a place that absolutely nobody on this planet Earth would ever put it. But she has to put it there to maintain her position, her religious position. I quite
know,
like
but
cat and mouse in that context.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
she
but to
believes in two horizons.
the audience, if
Well,
2 and 2 is 4, and
I know,
you
but
are, let me finish. If to the audience 2 and 2 is 4, and it's obvious 2 and 2 is 4, and you've made the case for 2 and 2 being 4, and someone comes on for 45 minutes to 2 hours saying 2 and 2 is 7, then changes it to 8, we just say, are you crazy to entertain such a person? You gave them a chance, they're wrong, move on.
yeah, and that's ultimately it's a case of like, what would you rather do? Stop the argument and then not have a show, perhaps, or not have the discussion, or do you want the show to go forward and watch Rumpus lie through his teeth or Brenda lie through her teeth? Depends on
Why
what.
do you think? They're here to prevent the show from going on? My goodness.
I know, but the audience realize that, so it depends
No,
on whether you want to. Basically, I quite like watching Brenda lie through her teeth, putting the horizon where everybody else knows that it's not. So, but if you
so
don't like that, then
embarrassed.
it's just preference, isn't it? I see that.
No, it's not preference. It's getting
No.
to the truth. No, it's not preference. It's getting to the truth of the debate question. And once you've answered it and they come back and lie through their teeth, as you would put it, and say there's two horizons or this or whatever they say, Rumpus or Brenda, then you say, no, you're wrong. Move on to another question because you lost this one. And then, or they leave and somebody else comes on. But you don't lose your show, you gain your show. They're the ones here trying to make you lose your show because they're taking up airspace.
Yeah, I see that.
That's their whole purpose here. They know they're stupid, and they know as long as they keep acting stupid, they'll have another 2 hours.
Yeah, but then would the counter argument then be but it's just an echo chamber? You won't let us have is it censorship, Nathan? Is it? You can't stop.
No, address that to me. Address that to me. It's not an echo chamber when you beat down an argument logically and with facts. That's not an echo chamber.
Yeah, but if they don't see that it's logical, beating it down with
Why
facts.
are you gauging your win on them?
He did this
When
to me
you-
earlier.
I like playing with the food before we kill. Like when an orca whale
gosh.
plays with the seal before he even he'll play with the seal before he kills it. Right? Eventually, he'll get bored and kill it, and then he won't even eat it. I quite like that.
Okay, that's not what I'm talking about, though. Anthony, I think I addressed this. The audience sees it. The audience knows the argument is already been won. It's time to move on, but you want to keep playing with it. And this is their whole goal: is they come here for you to do that, so they can waste 2 more hours.
Yeah, I know.
You're falling into their trap. It's so obvious.
I know. I can't help it. Sometimes I like it.
Well, I know, but that doesn't make for a concise beatdown of a false statement from their side. And let's move on. Is there someone else that would like to come and challenge the Black Swan properly? And then it's over with them, and no one comes, and the audience feels more strong and more like, okay, I got this argument because of the way they're doing it.
I'm feeling that you're taking the toys out of my pram for me on purpose here. Can we not have some
No.
toys left in the pram?
No, I'm saying do that off air with them if you want, but for a live show, and we have an audience that we're trying to train on how to debate, this is the bad way.
I agree, it is. But I still like watching Brenda put a line in where the horizon is, and it's clearly not the horizon.
How many times? Is
I know,
one
I can't
time
help
enough?
it though. Maybe
No,
I've got
is
a
one
condition.
time enough? Is one time enough or 2? But not for 2 hours.
Maybe I've got a condition.
No, you don't have a condition. You're a cat. You like mice.
Yeah. I just like watching Brenda put the horizon in the wrong place, or Rumpus arguing the totally fallacious argument. I don't know.
It's a
Maybe
Tom and Jerry.
you're right. You're right.
Like a Tom and Jerry sequel.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's
Yeah, but see,
defensible.
now I'm on the show since the beginning. I don't know if I'm in my 7th notepad or 8th. I'm here as a student. I'm here, and I think there's other people that are here for that too. And so you want to duplicate flat earthers with winning debate points, then do it that way. You want to play around and waste 2 hours with a crazy maniac person, it's not, I mean, you can take it once maybe, but not as constant as it is.
Yeah, you're right. You are right.
Sleeping warrior, you know, the namesake's not wrong. He likes going out, poking people with his sword, toying with them a bit.
Yeah, I just enjoy watching them lie through the teeth and hope the audience see it too.
More than enough.
I mean, today we're going to cover gravity, Anthony, so you're going to be
It was gravity.
Perfect question. See, when it comes to gravity, you've got the perfect response immediately.
Yeah, that's it. That's why it's refining the arguments, and it might be the case that periodically there are arguments that are better refined, and we all have to change our position to the more refined arguments. The best way to deal with gravity is, well, what's gravity? The minute you say that, they've got to give the Einsteinian one, right? And let's just be clear for Bob, I'm not pushing Einstein. All I'm doing is trying to get people that are pushing gravity to be a force to actually give the current science. Because the current science is not that it's a force, it's an effect. So Mark Doxey thinks that I'm pushing gravity because Einstein, because I like whatever. Bob thinks that we're pushing Einstein because whatever. No, we're just trying to get the ballers to correct to cite the correct science. And then the minute they say it's the effect of the curvature of space-time caused by the uneven distribution of mass, and that's got to flow off the tongue, it's got to flow, it's the definition. Then we just say, all right, so what's space-time? And then that's conceptual. And then we just laugh at them. And that's really how the conversation stops. So it is but there's no arguments there. I quite enjoy watching them argue forces and all that. And I know this is where Tenth would say, why? And I'd say, because it's fun.
No, like Nathan said, you address gravity perfectly. But let's take the black swan. Why don't you just stick to the argument the way Huey has set it up? Or
Me and Nathan we've had a deeper meaningful about how strong both positions are.
No, you haven't. I heard you arguing with Dean about Fermat's principle on the trajectory of light.
Yeah, but he thinks that light follows curved path.
That's truly fascinating. When the argument isn't about the light that's travelling around the horizon, now is it?
No, the argument's about why the horizon is where it is.
No, it's not. The horizon is claimed to be geometric and must be geometric and can be no more than the physical obstruction distance that they set out. Now, while they can loom things up to or beyond or whatever, I don't know whose mic's open. Is that you, Tenth?
Oh, closer.
The argument is in regards to what their model necessitates. A geometric horizon and its physical constraints. You've only got to listen to Ranty's 90-minute presentation. The first 20 minutes of it are him summarising how their model is produced. What are the constraints? And what are those constraints? Well, they're geometric. So you need a geometric horizon. You need the obstructing leading edge of a sphere for that model to work. We don't have that for a horizon. And I timestamped in his video where you did point that out, but then you start arguing about how the light works. The argument's about the horizon.
Well, yeah, and I did point that out to, I only joined Ranty's late last night, and when he said that, he said, the first thing I heard him say, he said 2 points. He said, when we're looking at the horizon, we need to take into consideration 2 factors. And the first one is the geometric position. And I'm like, no, we don't. We just put the line where it meets the sky. That's literally what we do.
Stop.
And
there is his usual MO. Immediate disclaimer of the very devastating point we're using. So he immediately disclaims that there's going to be a geometric horizon involved, the edge of a sphere involved. Right.
Yeah.
We don't have that, and we can prove that. And they, upon us presenting the Black Swan, must and do concede that it's not geometric. Now, you've only got to show that it's not geometric once, and you have people like Rumpus say, well, it's always apparent. Well, then it's never geometric. And that is a premise of their religion. And he even disclaims it. We're going to have a geometric horizon. No, we don't have that. That's the end of the argument. We don't have one.
That's what I did last night.
Yeah, initially. I mean, my criticism here isn't very high, and it was the same for Brian's logic. So don't take this too personally. This is a very, it's a critique as opposed to a heavy criticism. So when it was Brian's logic, so it's not so personal to you, Brian's logic's got Brenda completely over a barrel. Now he's saying, why is the horizon at this distance? Because the working premise of that argument was that it is the leading edge. And she's saying, no, we've just got another one down here. Or when he got to the point that he keeps parroting, or Brian keeps parroting, why is it over here then? She says, I don't accept the evidence. In other words, I just don't accept this photo because it doesn't meet the standards of my model. Well, he's won at that point, but he kept asking her. Well, in this instance, you'd won. As soon as you point out we don't have a geometric horizon, you'd won. But then you went on to debate about Fermat and how the light's reaching her eyes. What? For the apparent horizon? You see what I mean? So it's like, well, why are you arguing about this? You're now arguing within our winning position that we've got an apparent horizon about how the geometric horizon is derived from it. This is nonsense. You've already won.
And let me add to that. So now in the audience, I'm thinking I got to go understand what Fermat is all about.
But I think the perception...
When I don't.
I think the perception is that I didn't realise that we'd won. But I did.
No, I know you did. I know you did. It's like I say, it's only a minor critique. I know I can hear you smiling when you're doing it. I'm just saying it isn't necessary. Yeah. And I paralleled it with Brian because he didn't realise he'd won. So with Brian, I actually, noted it in a slightly different way. Whereas there's a lot of people who don't understand this argument yet. So while it might be fun for you, at this particular point in time, I'd rather it was just concise and where it wins and why it wins.
No, you're right. I know that I'm being mischievous when I do that, and I don't mean to be mischievous. I just like watching them weasel the words, weasel the way around the words. But
you just like playing with your food.
Yeah, that's what it is. Help it. I know I shouldn't do it, but it's so addictive watching them wiggle and weasel the way around words. I just can't help it.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by 10th Man, Chocolate Saint, Sleeping Warrior, Flatzoid, and I don't know if I've missed anybody. Is that everybody, hopefully, in the G+. How you all doing?
Good afternoon. Hello.
Good morning, Nathan, and greeting to the audience.
I did miss someone, Mr. Arwin. Hey, Arwin.
He says that felt like we were in school.
Hey, Arwin.
Hello.
Hello. And we've also been joined by a whole bunch of people in Discord. Hello, Discord server.
Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Oakley.
Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Oakley. Right, I'll just take the register.
Yeah. Just chocolate. Yeah, chocolate.
Present, sir.
Excellent. All present and correct. So over the last week, and indeed for the next week, at least part of it, we'll be covering an individual housekeeping question. So Monday we covered the physical reified edge of a sphere. Tuesday we covered Earth curvature in general. Yesterday we covered axial rotation. And today we're going to cover the scientific validity to the assertion we have gravity. Now, I've said gravity is a single word as opposed to a gravitational force, but that's where we're going to be starting. So before we do, is there anybody, only Discord, pipe down in the G+, anybody who does actually have, or thinks they have, any scientific evidence for gravity?
Come on, Discord. Everyone's got to have gravity evidence because you all believe it's vehemently, right? There's got to be some evidence for it. Can we see it? Come on, someone say Cavendish. Just let's start the show.
Michelle.
Oh, Julio, did you send me that graffiti art? Thank you very much. Hear me?
So nobody even wants to mention Henry Cavendish, then, no?
They know it's false, that's why.
It's all right. Anthony's looking to be led. I believe there's an assertion that gravity is proven by an experiment known as the Cavendish experiment, Anthony. There you go.
Really? Let's start with the definition for what gravity is. According to the current position in science, it is defined, and we'd like to know what that definition is, please, Nathan.
Shout out to Anthony Burrows for hitting the super chat. Thank you very much for your support. No, let's not define it, because that would take us immediately away from my 100-year-old out-of-date rhetoric that you've asked me to give you. So, Newtonian Cavendish would be mass attracting mass, Anthony. We all know that, obviously.
Oh, right. So in 1915, Nathan, the position changed and it was no longer mass attracted mass. In 1915, Einstein superseded Newton by introducing and publishing his document called The Theory of General Relativity, in which he defined gravity to be, quote, the effect of the curvature of space-time caused by the uneven distribution of mass. So given that his current position is the position adopted by science at the moment, how does the effect of the curvature of space-time caused by the uneven distribution of mass have anything to do with a man in a shed with some balls?
Oh, it doesn't. I am, as a globehead with this hat on, simply stupid and 100 years out of date. Thank you so much for correcting me, Anthony. So what you're essentially saying is, when I say mass attracting mass and cite Cavendish, that's not only 100 years out of date, but it's in defiance of the current pseudoscience pretender clown rhetoric of sphericity and heliocentricity that asserts that the distribution of mass causes the bending of space-time, otherwise known as pseudo-Ramonian force space, length, breadth, depth, and time. So the current rhetoric is space-time bending, as opposed to mass attracting mass. My bad. I was just wrong when I asserted as a globehead that it's mass attracting mass. I was just stupid in that assertion. Sorry.
Now,
Nathan, you won't make a good glober because you're conceding too much.
Yeah. Now, this is where, because I've got this little bit of narcissistic trait in this topic, right? I quite like them begging the question and start talking about forces and all that nonsense to do with Cavendish and all that. But it pisses people off. And I don't mean to piss people off, but I quite like it because I like to hear them start wiggle, right? Because I like the discussion on gravity. But if we're going to kill gravity from the start, that's how you do it. You get them to define it. And if they define it, they've got to give you the current position. And the current position is the effect of the curvature of space-time caused by the uneven distribution of mass. The conversation is over. It stops.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So, if mass attracted mass, wouldn't mass just always attract mass? So, if that was the first theory, why would they get rid of that to supersede it with another one? Would that suggest that mass doesn't attract mass?
Let him answer.
Oh, okay.
Let him answer. Say again, Anthony.
Because mass doesn't attract mass. That's the reason why. There was no evidence to support the assertion, and it had to fail for some reason. Who cares what they made it, why they changed it? But Einstein published a document in 1915, and at the moment, it's the currently accepted science. So this is their story. It's not our story, but we will make them cite back their story, because if they don't cite back their story, we're arguing about a position that isn't even the current science. So let's not do that, even though it might be fun. And we're playing with food before we kill it, like an orca whale does, and then they don't even eat it; they just kill it for the fun of it. We could do that, and we could argue about Cavendish and all that stuff, and we've done it show after show after show. But if we want to kill the argument right at the start, ask them for the definition, Make sure they mention the word effect, because they always miss that out when they'll talk about bendy space-time and they'll put it in that context, bendy space-time, but they'll deliberately miss off the word effect. And that's the bit that's the word that we need them to cite back, because it is their current science. And when they say it's an effect, we all know that if it was a cause, they would say it was a cause, but it's not, it's an effect. So the effect that they need can't cause anything, because otherwise it would be a cause. So the meanings of words then becomes important and the conversation stops.
All right.
But it's boring.
Can I ask a question maybe about
So-
gravity? To you, Tony?
Yes,
Because I think
yes.
you probably know it.
Go ahead, Darwin.
Right. So you've always said, and we've always basically said, like, okay, Einsteinian gravity superseded it according to science, right? Who established that? How was that decided upon? How was it decided that the science narrative would change? How did that exactly happen at the time?
Einstein.
Was there even a uniform decision about it? Because I remember having seen like a news article that basically saying that a huge preponderance of physicists adamantly opposed Einstein as a scientist in general.
You're right. He was opposed, but for whatever reason, it's become accepted, right?
Yeah, but that's not that.
Hold on,
No.
that's not-
But
hold
that's
on,
the
let me
thing.
answer him.
You say
Anthony,
that.
Owen, I'll
How
answer you.
was it?
I'm
who
trying to
decided?
answer you because it got published.
Yeah, but
You know the peer review process.
University decided.
It went through the process that they call science. It's not science; it's men. But it went through that process, got published. That's it. And then
So it's peer reviewed, as it were.
Yeah,
I mean.
but upon
It was
publication,
peer reviewed, and a lot of people agreed. So it was almost like a democratic vote,
Yeah, I guess.
like that.
However,
I wanted to basically point that out. How it was even established. So,
yeah. So however it was established and accepted is not our position, it's their position. But we want them to at least cite us back the current narrative. So if they're going to claim that gravity is something, just ask them for a definition and make them say the words verbatim, because it's an effect. It's an effect caused by the uneven distribution of mass, whatever that means, and you can start arguing about it. But the minute they say it's an effect caused by the uneven distribution of mass, they've then got to formulate it to explain whatever it is that they're claiming Newton's apple fell off the tree for, or whatever. Apply it to whatever nonsense they're going to apply it to, but make them define it. Once they define it, make sure it's accurate, and then it stops.
We get it. So I have another question concerning this, since we're going so deep into gravity now. Is it even officially recognized? I guess it is peer reviewed. It was kind of like decided upon through publication, as you said.
Is.
But if you, for example, go to a physics university, and you're like really into gravity and into Newton and stuff, and you try to figure out your own view of gravity. Hey, a lot of people do this, I used to do that. It's like I can figure out what this freaking gravity is everybody's talking about, So you go to a physics teacher and you basically say, yeah, gravity, if it's a force like this and that, will every single teacher then officially respond, but gravity is not a force? Or is it still, because beside the peer reviewing, is it still basically open for contest officially?
Depends on the level.
How do people go about with it?
Will this question ever end? It depends on the level. If you're at A level, they'll tell you gravity's a force. I believe it's still the case at GCSE level. So they'll teach you Cavendish. They'll get you to do it. Well, as soon as you
this is the problem. This is the problem.
Wait.
If they're teaching you that gravity is a force, even though it's not been a force for 100 years, you have to ask the question, well, why are they getting taught this? Because if it's not the current position, it just so happens to be convenient, and the maths happens to work out. What they're actually being taught is that maths is matching the reality. Therefore, it's a legitimate explanation, and you can be taught this as true.
Fine,
And
good segue.
I'm sure that's a good position.
Good segue. Okay, so we've established what the old pseudoscience was, and now we're establishing what the current pseudoscience from the globe side is, and it's Einsteinian. So we've got that established. So let's go into that now. So what is the effect again?
It's the effect of the curvature of space-time. So what's space-time, Nathan?
I was going to ask you that, bastard leading me.
Space-time is nothing more than a mathematical representation of Einstein's visions and they call it a concept, right? It has no experimental application anywhere, but they will give you a time dilation experiment, which we'll come to if we need to.
What?
But something that's conceptual, that
Experiment?
existed in Einstein's mind and represented purely mathematically with no experimental application, stops the conversation. It stops.
Excuse me, time
So-
dilation experiment? Really?
So
We'll
are you
come to that.
saying that the current theory of gravity would just be the bending of a conceptual medium?
That only ever existed in Einstein's visions, and it was represented mathematically and has no experimental application.
Shout out to Alexander, who says, maybe Cavendish's balls were attached to each other. Mine are not. Wink.
Concepts are easily bendable. It's just when you're going to equate that with
Yeah, so-
reality, you got the problem.
It's a serious question. Let me answer that question seriously. How do you manipulate a concept, or how do you manipulate the curvature of space-time? The answer
How do you bend the conceptual medium?
Yeah, the answer is mathematically, and only mathematically, because that's where it exists.
Okay.
So
Can I say
then when you
something?
have
Hold on,
proficient people...
Conclusion time. So in conclusion, the current pseudoscience of gravity is the bending of a conceptual medium known as space-time that exists only in mathematics and came into existence from the mind of a man named Einstein. It does not in any way exist in physical reality. It is merely the conceptual medium mathematically described as pseudo-Ramonian force space. Correct?
Correct.
Okie doke.
End of discussion. So this is why I had a conversation with a guy called Jolyon Bloomfield, PhD, and Rumpus has also been in touch with him too. And I simply asked him, if gravity is not a force, what is it that makes Newton's apple initially start to move as it breaks its stalk and falls off the tree? And he ignored me and told Rumpus that I was basically trolling him with an on-topic question that he can't answer. And he's a PhD, and he's a PhD that specializes in general relativity. Yet he can't answer how Einsteinian gravity explains Newton's apple falling from the tree, because he thinks I'm trolling him. Now, if you don't need, that is the strongest citation I can give you. He specializes in Einsteinian gravity, but can't answer what is it that makes Newton's apple initially start to move. We all know what makes it move. It's just heavier than the air it sits in, and it gets too heavy for its stalk, and it snaps it. It's bloody obvious. That's what happens. But he can't even answer it, and he's got a PhD, and he teaches general relativity as his specialism in the Institute of Massachusetts, like MIT. It's just ridiculous.
Hey, Anthony,
So
what did Verlinder
can have-
say?
It's misinformed. Because
can
Newton
have
never
all the-
claimed a hypothesis for gravitation in the first place, and could have just said it's relative density.
Yeah.
It's not
He
that.
will-
Yeah, you can have
Out of a
you
job.
can have all the PhDs in the world. It doesn't mean you know your job.
Right.
At the end of the
Anthony,
day,
what did Verlinder say though?
gravity is not a force, but you can think of it as a force. Chocolate, do you
No,
want to get the other one?
No,
that's
that's
George Musa.
That's Musser. I'm talking Verlinder, the guy
Verlinder.
who said
Eric Verlinder said, we've known for a long time that gravity does not exist. It's time to start yelling it. Dr. Eric Verlinder from the University of Amsterdam, writing in 2015. So the current position is they know gravity does not exist. That happens to be our position. He's got an entropic view of gravitation, which I tend to agree with, but we both agree that gravity does not exist, and that's the key point. Doesn't exist.
so. This PhD that thinks you're trolling him, does he think Eric Verlinder would be trolling him with that statement?
Probably. But when this PhD, Jolyon Bloomfield, thinks I'm trolling him, for the same reason why I didn't take him to task, which I could have done, and then started trolling him with actual science, against his views and whatnot. But it's the same reason why I never approached George Musa, because even though George Musa did not support Craig, even though Craig claims victory, George Musa basically is showing the world that gravity is not a force. Now, we all know it's not a force. And even if we think of it as a force, that still doesn't make it a force. And even if we calculate it and it happens to match the maths, that don't make it a force either, because force is defined. So the gravity conversation stops with the definition. and that's the quick way to kill any gravity point, because they can't concede that gravity is not a force, but they have to. So
Wait.
it stops.
Wait, so would it be considered doublespeak when somebody as proficient in the quote unquote scientific community as George Musser comes out and says a statement such as "we can, we do, we must consider Newtonian gravity as a force"? Doesn't mean it really is one, but we don't necessarily have to work at the really is level.
He's pushing pseudoscience, trying to deceive people because it suits the official narrative that we live on a ball. Because they know they can't concede gravity, they can't concede it. But Einstein's already done it in 1915, and that's why Julian Bloomfield from MIT cannot answer what makes Newton's apple fall from the tree. He can't do it. So it's his inability to answer the question that magnifies how fucked they are, and they just won't accept it. But it means that we win. They just don't accept it. But it's their story. They lose with their own definition for gravity.
Hey, Ranty.
So in essence, they give you the A-OK for the doublespeak when they tell you things like gravity is not a force, but you can think of it as a force.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's just training his underlings in doublespeak. That's all George Musser was doing.
Right.
You must remember,
it's not a
Globers
force,
don't
but you
live in
can
reality.
fantasize about it. You know, if you want to.
Remember, Globers don't live in reality. They claim to live in the Matrix now.
It's a pity because all the ballers now won't come in, right? They claim that it's because Nathan's this, that, or the other. But what actually is the position is that the arguments are more and more refined. And we're all getting to the point where we can argue these consistently, accurately, and very precisely, and it kills their arguments. If you go and listen to Jose's chat, I went into Jose's his previous chats the other day, and I was listening to them talking about topics, and I was like, that's why they can't come in here, because they need to go to a safe space so that they can preach to those that want to accept the convenient lie. They can't go into Nathan's to talk about it because they know that their position is wrong, so they have to go somewhere else. So Jose's needed so that they can have their own church. That's the reason why their arguments fail, because they need a church to preach it in, and that's what Jose's chat is.
Well, they need to presuppose a lot in order to just finish a train of thought. And you can't really do that here without being pointed at the facts first.
I'm going to do a quick shout out. So shout out to Emma UK for hitting the super chat. She's also a videographer. She has a Discord server and does similar shows to these. So go and subscribe to Emma UK. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat.
Yeah, shout out
Emma.
Emma's cool.
Super cool.
So, are we all succinct with gravity? Do we all understand that it dies with the current definition and it stops there? It's a bit like when Rumpus was arguing for refraction on Ranties last night. And if you get him to define what refraction is, it doesn't mention curvy light. But in the context of gravity, that conversation stops at the current definition for gravity. It is the effect of the curvature of space-time caused by the uneven distribution of mass. If you can get that on the tip of your tongue so that you don't need to read it and remember to focus on the word effect, then it stops the conversation dead.
Yeah, you don't even need to really argue with the Globers anymore. Essentially, they can do it for themselves. I mean, last night was a perfect example for this hour-and-a-half presentation with the Rumpus on refraction. And with just a few questions put in at the right point at the right time, the Rumpus put himself essentially in a position where it was almost untenable for him to reason out of it towards the end of the actual presentation. So when I was trying to apply the same logic he was using and the same mathematics he was using to a flat plane, yeah, somehow it didn't work. And it was so bloody obvious that I didn't even need to have an argument with him. I didn't have to have a debate with him. He basically unraveled it himself, and everyone got to see it. It was beautiful. I gave him the spade and he dug.
And the best thing is he won't even realize that he's been beaten. And he'll tell people tomorrow the same stuff that he's told. How many times? They need to continuously drip feed this nonsense to people. That's why they keep coming back and they keep pushing this argument. It doesn't mean it's true.
Well, that's why he's got his opening line. I've always been right about everything I've said, and you guys are always wrong. So
yes, that's true. That's true.
What's
I'll
true?
speak to you, Anthony. Run your question.
I was just gonna say that sounds just like freaking with Brenda with retarded shit.
Come on,
And
Brenda.
Here you
No,
go.
Brenda
Please.
said it.
Yeah.
I've
What are you
never
getting
said
replied about
that.
this time, Brenda?
Brenda talks with a different voice.
Brenda, did you figure out where the
Chocolate and
horizon
Arwen.
is yet in the
Guys.
Black Swan picture?
Hold on. Chocolate and Arwen. Just come in to
Huh?
just speak to Anthony. Give him a bit of space.
So, Brenda, have you got any evidence for where I've lied to you?
Yeah, I'll talk. I'll answer your questions. You think that you're an equal of a PhD? You're not the equal of a high school student.
Wait, this isn't. What is this pissing competition? Who
What
cares?
what does he want?
Who cares?
What do you want?
Well, you've come in.
What do you
you've
want?
did you
Nice
just come
ad
in?
hom
Hold
stuff.
on. Did you just come in to ad hom him about his education level? Is that all you've come in for?
No. I want to answer Anthony's questions that he has
What's
about gravity, since that's the topic of your.
Fair enough.
What's gravity, Brenda?
Gravity is the bending of space-time.
Do you want to give us the proper definition?
It is the observed phenomenon that we see of things falling to the ground.
No, that's not the official definition. Allow me.
fine.
I'll do it. And
That's
if
good
you
enough.
think I'm lying, I'd like you to point out where I've got it wrong. Okay? It is the effect of the curvature of space-time caused by the uneven distribution of mass.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Great. So, can you explain to me how Newton's apple falling from the tree was caused?
By the unequal distribution of mass, causing
The
space-time
I see.
to bend,
All
thereby
right, so it's
causing
force pulling things down.
the
Then no.
apple to
Hold on,
fall.
Anthony. I can't hear her answer.
What was that?
Can you repeat yourself, please, Brenda?
Oh, the apple falls because space-time has been warped, bent, distorted in such a way
Okay,
that
Great.
it
So
falls, right? Because of the unequal distribution. Oh, okay, Anthony?
Can we agree that it wasn't a force that pulled it down then?
Well, you can think of it as a force.
Yeah, buddy.
But it wasn't a force, though. Even
that's
though you
true.
can think of it as a force, it wasn't one. Can we agree that?
It depends. What do you define a force to be?
An interaction, a physical interaction, a push or a pull, consistent with any definition in physics.
Well, we don't actually know what gravity is as
we do.
a
It's
thing in
defined.
itself. We only
We do.
have.
It's defined.
All right, just before we move on, Brenda is
I
asking
couldn't hear you.
He's just asking you to concede that it's not a force as per your original definition, and you're saying, "Well, we don't really know,"
Well, we don't.
but that's not answering him.
A force is anything that gives an object a vector, and that's what the
No.
bending of space-time does.
No.
Is it gives
Any
objects
definition in
a
physics
vector.
cites force to be an interaction that is a push or a pull. That's the physics definition. We can do it if you want to. We can get it on screen for the audience. But unless you can counter me with evidence to the contrary, a force is a physical interaction, a push or a pull. It's not what you just said.
Yeah, we don't have an interaction. That would be a particle-particle interaction. Nobody knows what it is that gravity is in itself, right?
So it's not a
All
force,
we
though,
have
right?
are descriptive theories about
No, he's
about
asking you.
gravity.
He's not asking
There
you
are
that.
proposed
He's not
theories
asking.
like.
You don't need your word
I'm
salad,
sorry?
Brenda. He's saying, given your definition and the description, it's not a force. He just needs you to say that's correct, or no, it's not a force. That's right. Words to that effect. Not endless diatribes about what it could be. That's not what he's asking.
It's a force because it gives objects a vector.
Sorry, you just said earlier it's not a force, and then you said we can think of it as one. So you're now.
Yeah.
So it's not a force then.
It's not a force in Newton's conception of a force, which was
Brenda,
spooky action at a distance.
Brenda, if it was actually a force, wouldn't it just be a force? Why would you need to think of it as a force unless
And
it wasn't
what's a
one?
let's go back to the
What's a
definition for
force?
gravity. It is defined, Brenda. It is defined, and I'll say it again, as the effect of the curvature of space-time caused by the uneven distribution of mass. Is it caused by a force, or is it caused by the uneven distribution of mass?
We don't know what it is about the uneven distribution of mass
Nobody asked.
that
again.
causes
It's not what he asked.
space-time
That's
to
not what he
bend.
asked. It's not what he asked.
We don't
Let's
know
do
what
it.
that is.
It's not what he asked.
Let's do it again, Brenda.
Try again,
It is
Anthony.
defined. The definition for gravity is defined. It has a current definition. It is from Einstein's theory of general relativity, the currently accepted position by science for gravity. And he says, quote, the gravity is the effect of the curvature of space-time caused by the uneven distribution of mass. So I'll ask my question again,
Yeah.
Brenda. Is gravity a force given the current definition?
How does the uneven?
He didn't ask you for a question. He asked for a very straight, simple answer, and you're now asking him a question. This is a concession given your description at the beginning of this diatribe. So what I'm now going to do is summarise what's happening. Brenda can't concede the very position she described in her definition. So she's now going to obfuscate indefinitely, because essentially Anthony has now won. Gravity is not a force by their own definition.
It depends on what you mean by a force.
A push or a pull, that's been defined by Anthony. We've covered that. That's been covered.
Yeah. Nobody knows.
No, we don't need to know what nobody knows. We know what it is when you describe a force. And this is not that.
It's defined, Brenda.
Nobody knows what gravity.
See, she can't concede it.
Nobody knows the
Hold on,
trouble
guys.
she is
Yeah,
seeing.
just so the audience knows what's
Nobody
happening.
knows but Brenda.
Yeah.
Right, so stop.
Let's just concede what's
This is what I was
actually
saying.
happening. Hold on, Anthony. I'm just going to summarise. I don't want to go around in circles for 25 minutes with Brenda telling you that it could be a force, but isn't a force, but is described as a force, but isn't actually a force, but we don't really know what a force is in this context. She's just conceding her loss with endless word salad and babble. Anthony's won. It's part of the current pseudoscience definition of gravity.
So this is why I was saying in the preamble.
Adults
leading to
don't
this-
have winning. This is not winning.
We've won. Brenda's lost. It's not a force. She needs it to be a force, so she's going to tell us we can think of it as a force. It isn't a force. She's lost. We've won. Now she wants to define the lines of what winning and losing is when she's lost. No, you've lost. Tough. You don't have to like it. It's not a force. It's defined as such in your current pseudoscience. You don't have to like it. You can parent your magician of George Musa's bullshit, telling us we can think of it as a force, even though it isn't one, which is Anthony's point. Therefore, his point is correct, and your endless babble about what is or isn't a force, or what is or isn't winning, isn't going to win you your point. It isn't a force. I thank you.
So,
Do you
At the
really
beginning
think
of the
this
show,
makes you
before
look
Brenda
good,
joined-
Nathan?
I
No,
think
wait a minute.
you're going to get shut up if you keep interrupting Anthony while he summarises your loss, because you're a sore loser. Stop
At the
bullying
beginning of
Anthony.
the show,
Stop
before
bullying
Brenda-
Anthony while he's trying to talk. Please, can you stop bullying him, Brenda, or I'll kick you out for bullying. Go ahead, Anthony. I won't let Brenda bully you.
And if you go back and if you rewind the time on this, I said that the whole argument stops with the current definition for gravity. And what do you know? Brenda joins, and we get to the current definition of gravity, and she cannot, will not, and refuses to concede that it is not a force, even though the current definition of gravity cites that it is the effect. And I want Brenda to admit and concede that it's an effect of the curvature of space-time caused by the uneven distribution of mass. She won't do it because she knows that she needs it to be a force, and she needs to obfuscate it to say that nobody really knows what gravity is. But unfortunately, it is defined, and your current narrative is that it's an effect. So, Brenda, I'll ask you again, do you concede that gravity is an effect?
Yeah, it is. I've already told you I agree with your definition that it's the uneven distribution of mass that causes the bending of space-time. I've already agreed with you. I
Okay, so
didn't
in
concede
future, I
anything.
don't want to be talking about gravity as though it's a force. Now, second point, can you address how Einstein would argue or explain how Newton's apple falls from the tree?
Einstein would probably say that the reason the apple falls from the tree is because the uneven distribution of mass has caused space-time to be warped and therefore the apple, following its geodesic along space-time, finds itself in the on the
Excellent.
ground.
Have you seen Space-Time being?
Hang on. Wait.
Hold on, Ranty. He's getting there. I
She's
want to
right.
do that too. Just kudos to Ranty. He spotted what's coming, but let Anthony do it.
She's right. That is the correct formulation for the answer as per Einsteinian gravitation, the current position of science. My next question, Brenda, which I want you to answer and don't deflect from, is the curvature of space-time. How did he prove that the curvature of space-time was what we were seeing?
Prove that it was. I'm not sure I understand.
Okay, so the answer is found by defining what is space-time. And there's a definition, it's defined. What is space-time, Brenda?
There's a formula for space-time, and I don't know it off the top of my head.
Sorry, hold on, Anthony.
Space-time.
Hold on. No. When he says what is, I'm just going to clarify on Anthony's behalf. He means in physical, actual terms. So we don't want any abstractions and mathematics, please. Go ahead, Anthony.
So we've had the definition for gravity, it's defined. We've had the definition of force, it's defined. Space-time is also defined. Do you know what the definition for space-time is, Brenda? If not, I'll tell you.
Well, I don't know what definition you're going by.
I'm going by it's defined. Space-time is defined. Do you know what it is or not? If you don't, I'll tell you.
Go ahead and tell me.
She doesn't know what it is. Go ahead, Anthony. She doesn't know.
It's a conceptual medium represented mathematically with no experimental application.
So a conceptual medium, Brenda.
Demonstrated
What is a
mathematically.
conceptual medium? And
Not real, not actual, not physical. That's
And
what
it's demonstrated
conceptual means.
mathematically. So how do we, according to Einstein's current theory of gravity, how do we explain what happens with Newton's apple when it falls from the tree if the answer is defined as conceptual medium represented mathematically? What do we do?
Anthony, if I have a concept,
That's not what we need. We don't need questions.
No
We
questions
need to
or
know what's
questions.
happening, given that you've described concepts causing things, when these concepts themselves are defined as effects. So given that these concepts are defined rigorously, and Anthony's asking you what happens in actuality, we don't need a question. We just need an explanation of what's happening in actuality with this concept. Now, the problem here, Brenda, is that you can't describe what's happening in actuality when you're only defining conceptual mediums. Maybe you didn't appreciate that.
Mathematically as well. So what your answer, Brenda, has to be is a mathematical representation of the curvature of space-time, the concept that doesn't actually exist. But we do see an apple falling from a tree. So what my point now is that your current understanding for your current position and your current understanding for gravitation is that you've got to explain it mathematically because it's a conceptual medium that only exists in maths and it has no experimental application. But we do see an apple fall from a tree. So I'm going to put to you that you can't explain it in any sufficient way to explain why the apple falls from the tree because you only have maths to do it in a conceptual medium that doesn't actually exist.
you can have concepts of things that actually exist, Nate. And
Perfect. Maybe you can answer the super chat question from Alexander in that case then, Brenda. How much time there is in 1 cubic meter of space? Thank you for the super chat, Alexander.
yeah, the question is malformed.
It's physical, isn't it? So you can show it us in physicality. Is it not physical, this conceptual medium that we're pointing out that it has no actual effects in reality because it's conceptual? And you're saying it's a malformed question for us to ask to be shown physicality to this conceptual... Yeah, you're right, because it's conceptual. That's where your argument falls apart. Not malformed question, malformed because you can't do it. You can't show a conceptual medium in physical terms.
So when you joined, Brenda, you said
If
that
it's
you would answer the
conceptual,
question.
how do you explain frame dragging?
Who cares?
Sorry,
you joined
who
and you said
cares?
that you
Red
could
herring
answer my question.
fallacy. Red herring.
You know what a concept is? A concept is an idea.
Yeah.
So based from that, formulate your next position.
Explain how the apple falls from the tree.
Can an idea be about a thing?
Can an idea cause something? Well, in this instance,
No.
we've got a conceptual medium. So let's focus on that. Not let's have some red herring question to us about concepts of a different description. So we've got a concept that you think causes stuff when it's even described in its own definition as an effect.
To
No,
answer this
I
question,
don't think the
you have-
concept causes
listen.
things.
Well, so
You-
it doesn't. So gravity does not cause the apple to fall from the tree then?
Of course it does.
No, you've just said concepts don't cause things. Our point was conceded. And Anthony's point is that if you have a conceptual medium that's claimed to cause things, how the hell is it causing things? Your response, I appreciate that concepts don't cause things. Ergo, the concept of a bending time medium does not cause the apple to fall.
Right.
Yeah! So gravity's not a force. This is a bullshit made up nonsense in mathematics, come from the mind of a man. Nothing to do with the physical existence that we experience.
It's a concept.
Yeah, not part of the physical experience then. Just a concept, an idea of gravity. Who gives a shiny shite about your ideas of bloody gravity? It's got sod all to do with the physical process of an apple falling down. Absolutely nothing.
The concept is about the real thing, Nathan.
Oh, really?
No,
And the
it's not.
concept about the real thing causes
Yeah.
the real thing to do something, does it?
No, the
It's
real
so-
thing does that. Not
Yeah, the real thing does that, but your conceptual idea of a cause being attributable is total nonsense because it's conceptual. So your ideas and musings, no matter how mathematically complex, have absolutely nothing to do with the actual occurrence. They're just musings, they're just concepts, they're not causes.
But do you know what makes
my
it even
concept
worse?
of a gun doesn't.
Hey,
Brenda,
another red herring.
give me-
Go ahead, Anthony. I can't be arsed with a red herring. Go ahead.
What makes it even more difficult is the fact that not only can you not formulate it in a conceptual medium as per Einstein's visions, you've got to do it mathematically because that's what space-time is, a conceptual medium represented mathematically. So I want to hear you mathematically describe what causes the apple to fall down using maths, because that's what your gravity is.
Concepts are about real things. Space-time is a real physical thing. It's a part of the universe.
Space-time is not a
concepts
real physical
are
thing. It's a
about
conceptual
the
medium,
real
Brenda.
thing.
Brenda, so this is where you're failing. The definition of space-time is defined. It is the conceptual medium. Maybe if Nathan could get it on screen so the audience can see it. The conceptual, just type in space-time definition on Google, Nathan. It should bring it up. It is the conceptual medium represented mathematically. It's a conceptual medium represented mathematically. I've forgotten the last bit of it.
Anthony, I can have a concept about a thing, and those are two different things. The apple is a real thing, and my concept about the apple is an idea.
That's so nice. So you've got an idea about gravity in its relation to the apple, but the idea has no effect on the apple because it's just an idea. So while you muppets can think that you've got a force here, understand this. It's just an idea. It's not actually affecting the apple. It's not actually a force. It's not even designed in its own definition to be the cause of anything. It's an effect. Based in maths, not in reality, and has no effect on anything in reality. It is as simple as that. Shout out to Julio Pabon. I did actually shout you out when I saw you in the Discord server, actually, Julio Pabon, for you sending me that graffiti that you made. Thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate it. Nathan, I've left you an email in Nathan Oakley 1980 that I'm sure you will appreciate. I think that's the one I've just referred to, hopefully so. Oh, and Brenda lost this one. She should shop for a new purse to help her cope with yet another loss. Cheers. Thank you very much for the super chat, Julio Pabon. Really appreciate your support.
Nathan, present my screen, please.
Sure.
Let me know when.
You're on.
Okay, so space-time. This is where Brenda's failing with space-time, because to explain Newton's apple using the concept of space-time, you've got to do it mathematically, you've got to do it conceptually, and you've got to adhere to the definition. So all I've done is I've gone to space-time definition on Google, and then you can just read through them. But we'll go with this one. We'll go with the Wikipedia one because it's a general starting position written by ballers on a website that you can all put in whatever you want. It says in physics, space-time is any mathematical model. Well, we know what models are, reification fallacies. Mathematical, not real, which fuses the 3 dimensions of space and the 1 dimension of time into a single 4-dimensional manifold. So, Brenda, I want you to formulate using a mathematical model the fusion of 3 dimensions of space and the 1 dimension of time into a single 4-dimensional manifold to explain how Newton's apple falls from the tree, please.
Do you understand that models are about things, that concepts and ideas are about things? I don't eat the concept of an apple, I eat the apple. But that doesn't mean I can't have a concept of an apple. So I can have a concept of space-time, but it's space-time that moves or that causes the apple to fall, or the bending of the space-time.
Shout out to Paul Hall, who says, how does space or time do anything?
I'm sorry, what?
How does space or time do anything?
Oh, well, mass tells matter how to move.
That's total shite. It's not got sentience. It doesn't
How
tell
do they communicate?
anything. It's not telling
How do
anything
they
to do anything. It
communicate?
hasn't got lips. It's not got sentience. It's not communicating that.
How did they communicate? How did they talk to each other?
Yeah,
What
yeah, that's
language
called
do
the
they use?
reification fallacy.
No, it's not called a reification fallacy. It's called you talking bollocks. You've just said that they communicate with each other. One said to the other. No, they don't. They don't have lips.
Yeah, I never said they did.
Yeah, you did, you stupid fuckwit. Don't fucking lie. I heard you. I'm not deaf. You're going to point out how stupid you sound.
Yeah,
Yeah, you sound stupid when you talk about them communicating with each other. No, they don't communicate with each other. That's complete horseshit.
yeah, space-time tells matter.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have lips. What's it do to write on a fucking postcard?
Brenda,
That's
I
a
want you to
reification fallacy.
It's not a reification fallacy. It's your stupid idiocy. That's what it is. They're not having a little dialogue. Hello?
Brenda, I'm going to ask you again to
I
explain.
know, I didn't say they.
Brenda, listen, I want you to explain how Newton's apple falls from the tree, referencing space-time the way it's defined, to satisfy your belief that gravity was causing it. And you need to do it mathematically.
Well, what happens is that space-time will tell mass how to move because it deforms, the geodesics that objects fall or follow, right?
Okay.
So the reason the apple falls, here's the answer. The reason the apple falls from the tree is because the ground is in the apple's future.
Is it not because it's more dense than the medium it's in?
No, it's because being on the ground is in the apple's future. All things follow space-time geodesics, and the mass of the Earth tells space-time how to bend, and the apple follows that geodesic in a time-like manner. So its future
Hang on, wait a minute. So
brings it to the ground.
That's a really
wait a minute. I have a question. So are my feet in the future to my head?
They're traveling there's a difference. So they're standing in a gravitational field. There is a mathematically, you probably couldn't measure it, but there's probably a difference in time between your head and your feet.
Okay. So I'll give you credit for formulating it as per the definition. You've done a reasonable job, and our credit is given. However,
you know what?
Go on.
Go on.
She's going to bully you. She's decided that your response is going to be her response. So please don't bully the other guests, Brenda. Thank you.
I was just going to say credit is given for formulating an Einsteinian explanation for why the apple falls from the tree. It's complete mumbo jumbo. Nobody understands it or agrees with it, but at least you've had a go at doing it. And it sounded like poetry. It was beautiful, Brent. Well done. However, you still have an apple falling from the tree.
Run it by your PhD.
I'll just try again. Please, can you stop bullying the other guests? I don't know why you feel you have this entitlement to bully the other guests. Please stop doing it. Stop it, bully boy.
So, my question is...
bully boy! Can you stop it, please, bully boy? The other guest is speaking. Stop bullying the other guests or I'll eject you for bullying. Last warning, stop bullying the other guests, bully boy.
Brenda, just give me a minute. I'm giving you credit for giving a reasonable Einsteinian explanation, right? Credit is given. What I want you to do is... bollocks, what I was going to say.
Show mathematically how...
Yeah. I want you to express this mathematically, because what you've done is eloquently described it, and I'll say it was poetry. You haven't done it mathematically, but what I want to ask you is this is where I was going. What I want to ask you is, why is Occam's razor dismissed in this context? Because it is obvious that the apple is more dense than its medium, yet you want to go down some poetry explanation about how space-time's warping and time dilating and all this stuff, which is lovely. It does sound beautiful when you word it the way you did. But why do you dismiss Occam's razor when we know that the apple is more dense than the medium it's in? And if it was less dense, it would rise like my egg did. Why do you dismiss Occam's razor?
Because density can't give anything.
Density can't give anything what?
Density can't give things a vector. Density is just mass per unit volume.
You're right. Density alone doesn't give a vector. You're right. It's a scalar, and on its own, it doesn't give direction, and it doesn't give magnitude. But when you have two things that are next to each other, and you have a disequilibrium between them, we get displacement, and we can manipulate that, and we can prove that the cause is the thing that we manipulate. It's within scientific method as the independent variable.
Sorry, Anthony, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I've just got a couple of questions. Did the apple travel through time or air? Which was the medium? Was it a conceptual medium that it travelled through, or was it an actual medium that had a relative density value with respect to the apple? Was it a conceptual medium that it travelled through, or a physical medium? Which one was it?
Well, we're all traveling through
is your name Anthony? Is your name Anthony?
We can't.
Sorry, excuse me, bully boy. Bully boy. Yeah, I asked Anthony whether the apple, in his example, travelled through a conceptual medium known as space-time, or a real medium that has values that he can attribute to it. I'm just asking him which the apple's travelling through. A concept or something actual with values.
It fell through an actual medium called air, Nathan.
Oh, right. It didn't fall through a conceptual medium?
No.
Oh, so why would we want to qualify and ignore the conceptual? Why would we want to qualify the conceptual medium and start doing mathematics on that when it's fallen through an actual medium that has a relative density value, Anthony?
I have no idea, Nathan. I don't know why anybody would
Brenda. Do that. Why would you start worrying about its position in space-time, which is a concept, when it's travelling through a real, legit, genuine, measurable medium?
It's almost as if they
not you, Anthony. You had your chance. It's not travelling through a concept, Brenda. It's travelling through an actual medium. So why would we qualify it with a conceptual medium when it's not travelling through that?
Density is a concept.
That's not what I asked. I asked why you want to qualify this transition from tree to ground as though it's travelling through a conceptual medium that you'll then give us the maths for, and disavow, ignore, eradicate the actual medium that it travels through the reason this is being asked is Anthony has qualified it with actual physical things that we can measure, and you're saying, no, I've got an idea of a medium that it's travelling through called space-time, and I'm going to talk about what it's in its future in these concepts. And Anthony's saying, no, it's just more dense than the medium it's in. So I'm asking, given that he's qualified it with actual physical things, why we would need to qualify the medium it travels through when that medium isn't real, is simply conceptual. Why do we need to mathematically qualify that at all?
The apple doesn't travel through a concept. It travels through the actual thing.
So therefore, we don't need
that's
to
a
worry
problem.
about, if it doesn't travel through the concept of space-time, then we don't need to worry about measuring it or attributing, certainly don't need to attribute any causal relationship with this then, do we?
Yeah, because it means that you have to dismiss Einstein.
Hold on, Anthony,
no.
I'm asking Brenda. We definitely don't need to attribute causal relationships if it's not travelling through mediums. They're just ways of thinking about things. They can't possibly cause stuff then, can they?
Concepts can't cause things, but real things.
So the concept of gravity isn't causing the apple to fall then, because concepts can't cause things.
Right, just like
Right. So gravity ain't causing anything, love. So that's the end of this argument. Gravity's just your idea about stuff. A medium you have things fall through for some reason when they actually travel through air. Well, your religious ideas about things aren't concerning us. We have actual mediums we can qualify in physicality, rather than your not actual mediums that you think apples are falling through, and then for some ridiculous reason think that those conceptual mediums you think the apples are falling through are actually the cause of something. Well, that's simply preposterous. It's absolutely ludicrous.
there's the concept and the actual thing itself.
Yeah, the concept definitely isn't causing the thing itself. The thing itself's travelling through a medium, the medium of air. But you're saying we can qualify that as though it's travelling through the medium I can conceptualise it with. That would be space-time. It ain't travelling through that, it's just an idea you've got. So let's not worry about the cause being space-time and a geodesic in relation to it, when that's just an idea about what it's travelling through. It's actually travelling through air and is more dense than that air. Simple.
Even if no humans existed and had no concept.
Red herring, couldn't give a shit about no humans existing. That's got nothing to do with gravity and vectors that are concepts, and definitely not the medium that the apple's travelling through. Red herring.
Brenda, if you
Space-time would still exist even.
Shut up. Space-time doesn't exist, it's a concept. So
Brenda.
it doesn't exist, it has no physicality. Don't just circle jerk us back to the beginning where you assert that this conceptual medium is a physical thing doing stuff. It isn't. It's your way of thinking about the medium the apple's travelling through, when it's really travelling through air.
Nathan,
Okay?
give me one sec.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Brenda, if you agree that it isn't actually falling through a conceptual medium and it's actually falling through real air instead, then you're actually you're not applying Einstein. You're admitting that Einstein doesn't apply because the medium does physically exist. But you can't do that because you must adhere to Einsteinian gravity to have the argument for gravity. So you can't dismiss Einstein. You must apply it. So for you, the medium
I'm
doesn't
not
exist,
dismissing
is
Einstein.
conceptual, and we want to see your maths for it, please.
I'm not dismissing Einstein, and I have
But-
concepts about things.
But you admitted that the medium did exist, and you didn't. And you admitted that the conceptual idea of the medium you didn't really follow, unless you've changed your position.
She said, he
Space-time-
said, concepts
space-time-
can't cause things. Hold her feet.
Yeah, I'll gladly admit it. Concepts can't cause anything.
Well, space-time's a concept, so it does not cause anything. That
And you
is,
have to
as
apply
declared
this concept.
earlier, while I get rumpused. Of course, get rumpused. That's the conclusion. So everyone else pipe up immediately while I point that out. Yeah, that's the conclusion. Concepts don't cause things, as admitted by Brenda. So space-time, that's a concept. So it is not causing anything. Conclusion is drawn. Shout out to Paul Hall. How does math do anything? It doesn't. It's an abstraction. Not reality,
Ding, ding,
not
ding.
physical. Abstract.
And that's the end of the round.
And that, boys and girls, is how to defeat borders with gravity. Just use their own definitions and make them stand by them.
And with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where I bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. As I say, stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Don't prove anything. That's right.
Oh
Concepts
yeah, that
don't.
was great.
Concepts don't
One
do
point with that.
anything. And that was it.
Concepts-
It was even better earlier when she just said, "Well, you can think of it as a force." Oh, well, then it's
Yeah.
not a force. If you have to think of it as a force, then obviously it's not one. Then, right, Brenda?
The problem
No,
is
it
you
is.
don't-
It,
you don't
it
wanna
behaves
stick
as a
lines.
force. It acts as a force.
How does it act like a force if it's not a force, Brenda?
Because
It's
it's the bending
over.
of space-time.
It's over. No more. You
Yeah,
said
we're done.
concepts
You're
do not
done.
cause things.
We're playing around
Yeah,
with the
but-
zombie now.
You said it. Concepts
Do
do
you-
not cause things.
Right.
Brenda, you
Right.
said it.
Yeah,
So
I
are you
like-
gonna say
Concepts-
concepts now
Concepts
cause things?
don't cause.
Yeah, concepts
Shout
don't
out
cause
to
things.
Time
Thank you,
Travelling
Brenda.
Pete.
And space-time's a concept.
Shout out
No,
to
it's
Time
not a
Travelling Pete.
concept.
Sorry, space-time's physical. Show me space-time right now.
It's all around you.
Show it to me. Air's all
Actually-
around me. It's the thing the apple's in. Show me
Show me
some
the air.
physicality to
Show me the air.
what is
Nathan.
defined. Sorry, I'm trying to speak, but of course, Bully Boy's lost. So, Bully Boy, is it time to talk through me while I ask you to show me some physicality to the conceptual medium of space-time? It is real, according to you, so show me space-time. Don't tell me it's all around you because you believe it as an idea. No, that's not showing me in physicality. Anthony can show me some physicality to the medium he puts his egg in, or the medium that the apple is in. That has physicality, it's measurable. Now, your physicality of space-time isn't real, it doesn't have physicality, it's a concept.
By definition.
It's measurable. So yes, it
By
does have.
definition, a concept, Brenda.
No, it's not.
Well, you're just in denial and a moron. You just deny the definitions of your own religion when you lose. Oh well, I don't care that you deny the tenets of your own religion and the definitions of space-time as laid down by the man who derived them from his brain. That would be Einstein. Yeah, I don't care that you now deny the tenets of that horseshit, pseudoscience. Yeah, it is a conceptual medium. Pseudo-Ramonian force space being the geometry. Pseudo, not real. So you don't have to like it and you can deny it as a complete fucktard liar and Bully Boy who's going to talk through this demolition of your assertion that space-time's actual and physical when it's not. You're just retarded and wrong. It's not real, not physical, conceptual, love. You don't have to like it.
Concepts
get a-
are about things.
That's lovely. And that makes them physical and real and showable to me. No, they're not. They're
No.
concepts, not physical. That's what makes them concepts. If they weren't concepts, they'd be called actualizations.
Or
Or
media.
reality or physical. They wouldn't be needing a determination that they're conceptual if they were actual. Because then they wouldn't be conceptual. I can think about my car, but it isn't my car. The car's the car. My concept
That's right.
of what the car is isn't the car. Because that's an actual physical car that I can show you. My concept of what it is, or how you imagine it now, isn't the car. Those two things are very different. And the way you distinguish them is by actually showing it. So, the fact that you can't show me space-time, the pseudo-Ramonian force space that is Einsteinian gravity, doesn't make it real because you say so. It's still conceptual, you are simply wrong. And lying to my audience when you say, no, it is real, because I assert that concepts don't cause things, which they don't, by your own admission. Now changing what space-time is to be physical and real won't work. That's useless. Well, you're going to also declare that you've won every debate here, pathetic individual.
Every single one.
Yeah, what? I can't believe it. Give that man a pound. What's literally within the next breath of my prediction, you do just that. You've lost. Your end gambit is to declare that a conceptual medium's actually real because you say so. No, it's not. You are wrong and stupid and don't even understand your own religious rhetoric, making you thick.
I've just realised the best way to get this home to Brenda. Now, I'm going to do this because it's Brenda.
Show me the air.
Shut up, Brenda. Don't bully the other guests, bully boy.
I'm gonna do this with Brenda because she's probably the best. This will just work for Brenda, right? Now, Brenda is how do you describe yourself, Brenda? Do you say that you're a 60-year-old post-operative transsexual, right? So that means that you began life male and transitioned to female.
62.
Yeah? 62. So you're a 62-year-old post-operative male to female transition. Is that right?
Who cares? What's this relevant to?
No, I have got an angle. It's on topic. So Brenda's not actually female.
This is everybody knows all this stuff about me.
Brenda's not actually female, but we do think of you as female, but you're not actually female, right? Same as space-time.
I'm actually transgender.
Well, whatever sex you are or not, I don't know which one you are, and I'm not all I'm saying is whatever sex that you were born, you don't identify that as anymore. And we treat you as that, whatever it is now. So what I'm saying is, you're not actually the sex that we treat you as, and we think of you as that sex, but you're not actually that sex, are you?
I'm not confused about my sex. What being transgender is about gender, and gender isn't sex; it's perfect.
Right. My point is, you're not female.
No, Anthony. No, stop. Stop.
I don't claim.
Hold on, Brenda. Hold on, Brenda. Hold on. Anthony's conflating terms. He's conflating gender and sex, and he's going to reassert his position with that conflation in place. She's already addressed it. I don't want any more about this. It's a false equivalence, Anthony. And she's explained why. I don't want this pulled to pieces. It's not relevant. Only because she's debunked it, you're using a false equivalence. Sorry.
I'm trying to get her to understand that something that's not real.
We're done with her.
Treat it as real.
We were done with her when Nathan ended the show, when she said concepts don't cause anything. It's over.
Yeah. Her only rebuttal to that 10th man was, yeah, it is real. No, it isn't. It's still a concept. Just because she now says it's real, therefore the fact that concepts don't cause anything, well, this isn't a concept then, because it is causing something. That's useless.
Yep.
The concepts describe how things...
Oh, they don't cause then? So they're descriptions as opposed to causes then?
Nathan, I have a question for you.
That's correct.
Yeah, so gravity, concept, isn't causal. It's not doing anything to anything. Contrary to your belief and religious rhetoric that we can think of it as though it's causing shit, it isn't. It's a bloody concept.
I have a question for you, Nathan.
Go on.
No,
C.S. Lewis. You've heard of C.S. Lewis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. He wrote a book. Can you remember what the book was called, or one of the books?
C.S. Lewis, wasn't it? Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, or the Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
Didn't he come up with an idea, a concept of something called Narnia?
Yes.
Right. So, is Narnia real?
No.
But we do think of it as real because there's a whole book written about it.
Well, you can think a bit of being real. I don't.
But,
some people
where
do.
did it all stem from? Where did Narnia come from?
Same as Einstein.
Narnia came from C.S. Lewis's imagination.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Same as gravity came from Einstein's
bully boy.
Imagination.
Ranty's pulling apart your religion. That doesn't mean you get to bully him and talk through him and censor him with your fundy mute button. Yeah, go ahead, Ranty. I'm sorry Brenda's bullying you. She's in one of those... None of them like their religion being taken apart. They just lie to us and tell us that a concept's actually a real thing when they get defeated, and then bully you when you summarise the point. So I'll try and keep control of the bully boy. We'll see how we get on.
Well, seeing as we all agree that Narnia isn't real, and it all originated in C.S. Lewis's imagination, the same concept was applied with Einstein and his theory of gravity, and how that concept originated in his mind also. Both are concepts, both are not real.
But that doesn't explain how the apple falls from the tree.
No, the relative density disequilibrium involved in the apple being suspended after growing upwards. So a lot of energy created by the process of creating the tree to grow the branches up towards the sky and have that disequilibrium. I mean, the whole purpose of the tree and it growing apples is to have that disequilibrium so it can spread its seed. But that process involved it pushing an apple seed, growing an apple seed out of equilibrium, and then the disequilibrium returning to equilibrium when the very deliberately intended to be fragile stalk breaks, because the apples become too dense for the medium upon growing and taking a lot of energy to do so. So it's growing in disequilibrium. That's it. Well, eventually it can't suspend on the stalk and the air, and it breaks and then returns to equilibrium because it was in disequilibrium to begin with.
So let's move on.
So I understand that
you've lost this point. Let's move on to the black swan because you've lost this point. So where's that horizon in the black swan?
I don't want this. Right.
So I understand.
Hold on, Brenda. I just want to address this transsexual bashing. I don't want it. Right. I just don't want it. This ends here. I know I'll change pronouns from he, she to whatever. I don't care. Brenda's she. I don't want this shite. Right? This isn't going to get... Hold on. I want to finish my point.
Thank you, Nathan.
I do not want this held up by someone else as a straw man to burn. Right?
Yeah, okay.
Brenda as a preferred... Let me make my point. Brenda's got a preferred pronoun. Now, I have no respect for her. That doesn't mean that in social settings we have to abide by certain stupid rules. Now, I don't care for those rules, but I'm prepared to abide by them just for the sake of the rules. Now, I don't want anybody on my panel, and I will eject you if you don't respect those pronouns that are laid down. That's society, not me, not my rules. And I'm not going to have somebody burn this as an effigy just because someone's decided that they're going to rebel against those social rules. So I just don't want it to happen anymore.
And I just want to defend myself by saying I wasn't trying to diss in any way. I was just trying to find a something that she could relate.
It's fine. I didn't say you were. You had an argument. It was defeated by Brenda when she distinguished gender and sex. So at that point you lost, and I drew a close to it. I didn't say you were trying to have a bash at her gender. You were trying to draw a false comparison. It was part of the argument. Perfectly acceptable, as long as it doesn't go any further, or we suddenly start reassigning Blender's bloody chosen gender. No, I'm just not going to tolerate it. It's not the subject. The subject is space. Just last point. The subject space-time. I couldn't give a crap about Brenda as an individual at all. But I will respect the socially laid down terms that we have to work under. I'll accept those because there's consequences. Not for me, not for a society respect. In the respect to the debate, some wanker will come along and burn that like it's an effigy to defeat our arguments when it comes to space-time. And I'm not having it. No.
So about that horizon, Brenda, do you still think that you won that discussion about the horizon?
I accept what Blue Marble Science is, his analysis of the video that put out by you guys, which is that the image you're using is deeply refracted. There's all kinds of crap going on.
There's no evidence of refraction.
The bending of the towers. And
do you understand the argument, the Black Swan argument, Brenda? Do we even understand it?
We're talking about the horizon, not the towers.
Yeah, because apparently you don't understand it. First thing you're talking about are bars and the oil rig. We're not talking about that. That's never been our argument. And you know that. Don't play like you don't.
The point is,
why is the horizon behind
mirage.
the two oil rigs, Brenda? That's the only question on the table.
It's not,
which apparently you can't answer.
The horizon is in front of the oil rigs. It's a mirage.
So straight to delusional then.
Again, hold on. Just pause for a sec. Let's bring up the picture.
By definition, Brenda, the horizon is where the sky appears to meet the land or the sea. So how,
Riley, maybe there's multiple places in the picture where the sky happens to meet the sea.
There isn't.
It
I'm
has
just
to be,
struggling
right?
to find
That's
the
what she's
picture.
saying.
that doesn't comply with the definition, though.
Where's the picture? Is it in Ballbusters?
Yeah.
It should be everywhere. I'll post one real quick. Hold on.
I'd like to do something different. I'd just like no. I mean, it's along the same lines, but it's to do with Brenda. So before you present that image, just let me present my image.
Thank you, Paul. Go ahead, Ranty. If you can pop it up, Paul. Great.
That one. Here we go. This is just something I want to do a little bit differently. So this is a photo which I showed to Brenda and did it live twice actually on my stream when she was in there, and I was asking her to see the difference between either of these images. Bearing in mind that this was supposedly a 24-hour Arctic sun continuous shot tracing the sun, and this is from 23 seconds all the way up to 1 minute and 23 seconds. And when we got to these final two images, I obviously noticed a comparison, showed them to Brenda, and Brenda says that these images are different. Now, if we're going to go into this with Brenda about where is the horizon, firstly, I want to just say to people that, listen, this is what Brenda sees as two different images that don't look anything alike to each other, right? So when we're asking for Brenda's opinion on where the horizon is, I think we have to take her positioning of the horizon with a grain of salt.
Hold on. Let me just give Brenda context.
I can't see what it is. I can't see what you're talking about.
It's the picture.
The show is over. It's not on YouTube.
It's the start and end of the... Yeah, I know, Brenda. We're just talking to you. It's the start and end of the 24-hour sun video that you said that there was loads on. You just need to Google it. Someone then took the top result, put it up on screen, and there was loads of anomalies with it. One being that it was clearly doctored and edited loop with a blatant error in the form of two cloud formations that were identical at the beginning and end of the video.
Well, I didn't see two identical cloud formations.
No, sure.
They didn't look identical.
He knows that. Ranty pointed that out and said that you said they were different. But what you can't see is what was on screen then, that they're next to each other looking very much identical. But that's his point. He's saying, given that you still to this day maintain that they look different to you when they're clearly identical, that your judgment in regards to where the sky meets the ground apparently is in front of the turbines. When, Paul, if you can put it on screen again, you can't really trust your judgment when it clearly isn't. It's behind. Paul, can you put the Black Swan?
I can't see anything on the screen because we're not sharing screens.
It's the Black Swan image. You've said that it was in front, the horizon was in front of the platforms. It isn't. You know, you're clearly blind. And Ranty's point is to say that when you're presented with two identical images as a debunking for a claim to be looped footage, your rebuttal was to say they don't look identical when they're clearly identical. And now with the Black Swan, you're saying it looks like the horizon's in front of them when it clearly isn't. So you must be blind.
Yeah, Brenda, do you think we should take you seriously when everybody can see the horizon where it is? And
the YouTube thing is over. I can't see any images that you're sharing.
It doesn't matter. We're still talking to you, Brenda, and you know what image we're talking about.
Wait a minute, Chocolate. I just dropped the image into live stream, so if she goes to the live stream, she will see Bye Bye Ball image in the live stream.
But there's no live stream
that
on
you
YouTube.
obviously have seen before, and you have actually listened to Blue Marble Science's assessment on it, right? So how do you not know the image we're talking about, Brenda? This is why you are a liar, and nobody respects you.
No, I understand that image. And
you understand.
In this image, the horizon is in front of the platforms.
Okay. Yeah, that's what Ranty was pointing out when he said you can't trust this woman's judgment when it comes to things that are visual. Because it's on screen, you've seen it, people have seen it. The horizon is unequivocally not in front of the platforms. It is visually, obviously, behind them. You must be blind.
I don't think it's obvious at all.
Okay, fine. Thank you for your opinion. Anybody with eyeballs would disagree with you.
Have you seen the shadows on these, Nathan? Have you seen the shadows on the water?
Well, wait a minute. Before we do that, have Brenda define what horizon means. Then have her point it out. She's not defined it. We've defined it. Let her define it.
Well, that image is really, really
Brenda,
bad.
what's a
There's
horizon?
much better image in that same video, in the original video,
Brenda,
that clearly
you know when
shows
we had the
obstruction.
definitions for gravity, we're now asking you for the definition for horizon. Do you know the definition for horizon?
Which kind? There's 3 kinds.
Okay, let's have a
There's the
definition.
astronomical.
No,
There's
that's
the
okay. Hold on,
astronomical
Anthony.
horizon. There's the astronomical horizon, the apparent horizon, and the geometric horizon.
To astronomical.
Okay.
horizon.
Okay, no worries. And what do we have if
We
we live
get
on a sphere?
perfection by following the will.
What do we have if we
Okay,
live
well,
on a
I'm gonna
sphere?
ignore that.
What do we have if we live on a sphere?
Oh, you'd have the astronomical horizon, which is your view straight out from your eye. It's just a straight line past your eye. The apparent horizon is where the sky appears to meet the surface of the sphere, and the geometric horizon is a physical point that is tangent to the surface and is the that connects with your eye.
Sorry, that connects with your eye.
Well, I mean,
understand.
you can draw a straight line. You can draw a straight line.
When I look out across, say, a massive surface, hundreds of square miles, where's my geometric horizon?
It would be on the surface of the Earth, and it would be a tangent. It would be tangent to the surface of the Earth, and it would be defined as that furthest point on the surface on the actual surface of the Earth. But there could be obstructions like mountains in between.
And I qualified my question. So just on a great expanse, not an expanse of mountains, but on that great expanse, you're saying that my tangent to what is not visible beyond it is my observable geometric horizon, is it?
You could have an apparent horizon also.
That's not what I'm asking. Where's my geometric horizon? We do have one, don't we? Because we're on a ball. We must have one. It's the physical thing that you're describing we have a tangent to that would obstruct things physically. Physical, you said. So where is this physical, geometric horizon? What's it observable as?
Well, it would be a circle that would go all the way 360 degrees around the observer. The observer is a certain height above the surface, right? And so then you would draw a straight line from the observer to that point on the surface, which is the furthest extent of the physical sphere that you're standing on. Let's say you're standing on the Death Star, and that also forms a right angle, right, to a line tangent to the surface.
Yeah, I heard all that. What does it look like?
Nathan, why are you okay with concepts now, but you couldn't have concepts earlier?
Who's speaking? I'm not talking to you. What does it look like, Brenda?
What does what look like?
Jesus wept.
The
geometric horizon we're discussing? What does that look like?
It's defined.
It's a
No,
circle,
hold on, Anthony.
going all the way around the observer.
A circle? Like
That
the
would-
horizon,
that
you
would-
mean?
It's a circle.
Hold on. Like the apparent horizon? The apparent horizon does that.
They would
The apparent horizon does that,
on
though.
a
Hold on,
sphere.
hold on,
with-
Brenda. The apparent horizon does that, though, doesn't it? For me, in actuality, I have an apparent horizon, though, don't I? I don't have this geometric horizon. I've got an apparent horizon.
You could have both.
Sorry, I'm asking what it
on the
looks
Death
like.
Star.
Excuse me, don't tell me what I can have. Yeah, I can have both. If I hold up a golf ball in front of my eye, the golf ball's got a geometric horizon, but I might have a not actual apparent horizon also, in my view. Yeah, that's correct. You can have both. And I'm asking you, given that Earth is claimed to be a Death Star sphere, what does its geometric horizon look like? Don't tell me again what the apparent horizon looks like. I want to know what the geometric horizon looks like. We do have one, don't we?
What it will look like will depend where you are.
We do have one, don't we? We do have one that we can see, a physical geometric horizon of this sphere. We must have one, right? So what's it look like?
Yeah, it depends on where you're.
I'm going to say I'm at a fixed altitude. What does my geometric horizon look like, and where is it?
It depends on where you are and
Yeah,
how
I'm
high
at a
you
fixed
are.
altitude with an expanse around me. I'm on the Nirvana Salt Flats. There you go. That's where I am geographically.
Then it would look like Okay, then it would look like the Nevada Salt Flats, wouldn't it?
No, not the Salt Flats.
If you're out above the ocean, it would look like the ocean.
No. What does the geometric horizon look like? Where's that? What's it look like? What's the position?
It looks like it depends on where you are, on where you're standing.
I've told you where I am.
Yeah. That's
Yeah. Are you some sort of fucking moron? I've told you where I am. I've told you my elevation. Those are the only things you need to know. You've said we've got a geometric horizon. I know what a geometric horizon is. I've given a qualifying example with a golf ball. Now I want to know what, given your presumption Earth is a sphere, what Earth's geometric horizon looks like.
It would depend on where you are.
I'm on the Nirvana Salt Flats.
Then it would look like the Nevada Salt Flats.
What would? The geometric horizon, it's an obstruction. If I've got a golf ball in front of me, the top edge of the golf ball blocks anything that's behind it and below it, because it's a physical golf ball edge blocking the view of things behind it. Now, that doesn't alter that I've also got, because I happen to be in a very wide open space at that particular time, I've got a not actual apparent horizon also. Now, that's what I can see when I stand on the salt flats. I can only see an apparent horizon. I'm not seeing any geometric horizon. But a sphere Earth requires one.
That would depend. The apparent horizon would be altered due to atmospheric effects.
No, it's geometric. It's not atmospheric, it's physical. Are you stupid? Do you not understand what geometry is? Are you stupid?
The apparent horizon could...
Not apparent, you dumb fuck! Yeah, don't now tell me again what the apparent horizon is doing and what affects it. Yeah, the apparent horizon's affected by weather conditions. Yeah. We're not talking about that. We're talking about geometry. Mathematics of physicality. Nothing to do with weather. Rumpus seem to have this problem too. Don't you fundies now know what geometric means? Physical.
Yeah, I do.
Right. So,
yeah,
it seems, Brenda, given that we have an not actual location for a horizon, an apparent horizon, that we definitely do not have in our visual acuity any geometric horizon. There isn't one. We've got an apparent horizon, not a geometric one.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is. I've asked you where the geometric horizon is, and we haven't got one. What's it look like, I say? Where is it? What's it looking like?
That's a reification.
And why is everything that fucking demolishes you suddenly a reification? Is that your only defence now? Throw out some word salad about a random fallacy you've heard recently. Not everything I demolish you with is a reification fallacy. I do have a not actual location affected by the weather for a horizon. Now, the horizon I experience is unequivocally, definitely not geometric. So where the hell is the geometric one?
It's an actual location, Nathan. It's
Where
not
is
a
it? I don't see it.
location.
There is no geometric horizon in this picture now. I've got one on screen.
Yes, there
It's a
is.
picture of Barrow. There's no geometric horizon in this picture. There's only a not actual one. There's only the apparent horizon in any picture. What are you talking about? There's no geometric horizon in any of these pictures. We've only got, as conceded by Rumpus, apparent horizons. That's all we experience. We're not experiencing any geometric horizon.
Yeah, we do. We see it all the time.
No, we see a not actual horizon.
No, you can see it in that same.
Wait, so Brenda was calling out reification before, but now it seems like she's trying to make something that's apparent seem real.
Oh, yeah, of course, it was projection. I should have spotted that quicker. Well done, Chocolate. Yeah, your claim of a reification fallacy is actually projection, Brenda. Yeah, your model of a sphere has a geometric horizon, but we don't have that in actuality. The horizon is absolutely, definitely not geometric. It moves with the bloody weather. So we don't have fact. There is no geometric horizon.
The geometric horizon doesn't move with the weather. What are you talking about?
No, the horizon we experience does, though. Yeah, that's right, Brenda. Right, but you on a globe have a necessity for a fixed geographic physical horizon. Not one that moves with the weather, like the one we experience. You've got a geometric one.
That's
Brenda, has there
between the apparent horizon and the geometric horizon?
No, a geometric horizon and an apparent horizon are very different things. We do have an apparent horizon, but that horizon is not geometric.
In the original video of the platforms, it shows the geometric horizon.
Sorry, horizons that we experience aren't geometric horizons.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
The horizon we experience isn't a geometric horizon. It moves with the weather. It's a not actual horizon. It's never a geometric horizon. It's always an apparent horizon. That's a fact. Now, the fact that the horizon isn't geometric debunks the notion of a geometric horizon, which a ball Earth must have. But that's not our horizon. Our horizon isn't geometric. The horizon we experience is apparent, so not geometric.
The horizon is geometric.
Brenda. No, it isn't. It moves with the weather. The horizon is definitely not geometric. It's apparent. You're just stupid and have now decided to, what's the fallacy? Reify a ball model into the horizon. No, the horizon's definitely always apparent, Brenda. Always.
No, it
isn't. No. Yeah, it moves with the weather, changes with the conditions. Fact.
By definition, Nathan.
Pardon?
By definition, it's the apparent horizon. It expressly states it's where it appears to meet the sky and the land.
Yeah, appears.
Yeah,
it's apparent locations aren't geometric and don't have physicality. Are you stupid?
Mic check. I have a question for Brenda.
I've asked her a question. Are you stupid? Do you not appreciate that something that's apparent can't be geometric? Hello?
Yes, it can be.
No. By definition, it's apparent. Ergo, it cannot be geometric.
The geometric and the apparent horizons can coincide.
Oh, can they now? So we've got two. In other words, on the salt flats, when I asked you to show me where the geometric horizon was, and you failed to do so, we've actually got two horizons. One that's clearly apparent and defined as the geometric horizon, causing obstructions of things in the distance, and also a not actual horizon. Because obviously everybody experiences both geometric and not actual horizons simultaneously, until your reified version of the two cross over. No, we don't experience 2 horizons, you complete retard. No, we haven't got 2 horizons, woman. Are you stupid? Not 2, just 1. Can't be 2, by definition. It's the point where the land appears, there's the clue, appears, apparent, to meet the ground. We don't have 2 locations where the ground appears to meet the... Are you stupid? Are you stupid? There aren't 2 horizons, Brenda.
Yeah. Brenda, could you take a picture of the geometric horizon and not the apparent horizon, please? Or just point out a picture
We
that
only
has
have
that.
one. We only have one. It's only upon reification on the correct weather for her reification to work that she will assert that the apparent horizon, which is still apparent, it will be tomorrow, it will be today, it was on the day the photo's taken, but on that day it matches her model. Therefore, on that day, it's geometric that day. It's physically obscuring things that day because it's geometric then when a boat goes over it. It's never geometric by definition, by facts that it moves, by the fact that it's apparently where the sky meets the ground, and that isn't what happens. So by every single standard, we have only one position where the sky appears to meet the ground. Ergo, it cannot be geometric. Ever. You don't have a sphere edge for your religion to work, and your religion of Ball Earth necessitates a geometric horizon, which we haven't got. So this is where the ball dies, Brenda. Your prolonged silences maybe are the penny dropping, or your frantic way of trying to figure out a way of bullshitting your way around this, and claiming a not actual location by definition is actually geometric when you decide it is. It's never geometric. It cannot be. Yeah, Brenda's done.
While she's pondering on that, yeah. While she's thinking about that, when you guys were talking about gravity earlier, and more than one occasion, maybe Chocolate Saiyan knows, he referred to it all as very magical. So magic is what actually.
I had push to talk and I was mistakenly hitting the wrong key. So the apparent horizon over the ocean is typically above the geometric horizon.
No, we only have one horizon. There are not 2. Did you not hear a word I said? There aren't 2 horizons. Are you stupid? Do you think we've got 2 positions where the sky appears to meet the ground? No, we don't.
Brenda, what's 2 plus 2? Is it 5?
We don't have 2 horizons, moron. You can't have 2 horizons, moron. We only experience an apparent horizon, moron. It's therefore never geometric, moron.
We have one
We have
sky.
3 horizons.
We don't have
one
3 positions
sky.
where the sky appears to meet the ground. Yeah? That violates the law of non-contradiction, you stupid buffoon.
She's doubling down in the reverse direction.
They have different
Let me try
definitions.
this. Let me try this.
Nathan.
Brenda. The laws of perspective tell us that at some point, the sky and the ocean will appear to meet at one location. And that
Correct.
is that.
That's the
And
apparent. That's the
is-
apparent horizon.
Precisely.
don't-
That's what we experience. An apparent horizon. That's what we have. An apparent horizon.
There's an apparent horizon and the geometric horizon.
Nope.
The geometric horizon.
No, she's stupid. Fundamentally retarded. Only one horizon, Brenda. Clearly, you're very slow and think there's more than one position where the sky appears to meet the ground. There isn't two horizons. When I asked you to show me the second geometric horizon, your answer was it'll just look like the salt flats. But we still have the apparent horizon, and it'll always be apparent. Never the necessity for your ball model, which would be geometric. We don't have a geometric horizon. You saying that we've got another one is simply ludicrous because you're stupid. There isn't two horizons, you moron.
It's in the definition of horizon. Understand what the definition of horizon means, Brenda, and then you will never get confused.
I've got it. I've got a definition in Encyclopedia Britannica that she agrees with it. Can I read it off?
Yeah, go ahead.
The apparent horizon.
Wait a minute, Brenda. Wait a
lies
minute. If you
above
agree with this,
the
Brenda, I'm reading a definition. So if you agree with it, horizon in astronomy, boundary where the sky seems to meet the ground or sea. That's in astronomy.
Yes, that's the apparent horizon. You're right.
No, that's the horizon.
Can you take a picture of anything you're trying to talk about?
Multiple horizons in there.
I mean, unless Brenda has an observation of more than one horizon, I'd love to see it.
I've got it. I know how to deal with this. Yeah. I've got another definition, Brenda. There's actually 4 definitions for horizon. That my one's called the Narnia Horizon, and I put this because this is where on my model, this is where the horizon needs to be. There's 4, Brenda, and I'm having my Narnia one.
Do you arbitrarily place it somewhere? Hold on. I just want to clarify Anthony's horizon. Is it arbitrarily placed somewhere that isn't the definition of horizon, i.e. where the sky meets the ground? Is it just arbitrarily placed somewhere else in the picture?
Yeah, it's about 3 pixels below your one, Nathan. So that's my one.
I see. Your one.
Yeah.
No, there is only one horizon in the.
No, I'm having my Narnia one, Nathan. I need it in my model.
I'll try again for Brenda's sake. Do you understand now? People are making fun of you that there is only one horizon, Brenda.
I'm accustomed to you guys making fun of me. It doesn't.
Yeah, there isn't 2 horizons. That violates the law of non-contradiction. It's stupid to assert such nonsense.
Hey Nathan, can I do a typical Arwen and completely muddy the water? Yeah. I've been listening to this for over an hour now. Now I want to do my thing.
Don't do yours.
No, it's okay. It's okay. There is only one way.
No, it's not okay.
There's only one way that
it's not okay.
An apparent horizon could be behind a geometrical horizon, and that is when you're looking over a hill. But guess what? A hill is not a sphere.
Yeah,
that you're
I already made that.
It is a hill.
I already said this. You weren't listening close enough. I held up a golf ball in front of me and said that I could have 2 horizons: the geometric horizon of the golf ball and the horizon of the vanishing point in the distance. The not actual horizon. Yeah, in that scenario, and I asked Brenda to show me where a geometric horizon would be on the salt flats. The second horizon. The physical obstruction blocking things behind prior to the actual horizon that's shown in the Black Swan image. But as per all images, we only have one horizon. There's not some geometric physical sphere Earth edge and another horizon. They just utilise the not actual horizon and call it the geometric horizon when it suits them.
Yes. Perfect.
Precisely.
What about my Narnia horizon?
Also,
I want my Narnia one.
Go away, Tony.
So there are 3 horizons. There's the astronomical, apparent,
4,
and
4.
geometric.
No, Narnia. There's definitely 4. I'm having my Narnia horizon.
Horizon.
Picture, please. We need a picture of.
It's just 2 pixels below the apparent horizon. That's by definition my Narnia horizon.
Yeah. Bottom line
Brenda,
is,
the geometric horizon is a purely theoretical construct, not anything you could ever see.
So in your picture, Brenda, you said on the Black Swan, can we just bring it back up again, that there's 2 horizons. Well, the first would be a geometric horizon, and if that's the case, then it'd be physically obscuring stuff, and you'd see it as a physical obstruction to the things behind it. That's geometric obstruction, the thing you normally claim. Now, obviously, the picture's got none of that. There's still only one horizon, it's behind everything. So there's no geometric horizon. Ever. It's been debunked. Now, I grant you that hardly any on your side actually realise that yet, and you're having it pummeled into you now, while you over and again tell us that we're utilising a reification fallacy when we take a position where the sky appears to meet the ground and assert that it's actually, on that particular occasion, geometric. No, it isn't. Never will be. It's always apparent, and there's only one of them. I know you now say there's two, but that simply isn't the case.
Oh, by the way, Nathan, I want to thank you. I
For what?
appreciate you asking people to use the correct pronouns. And as a result, I will never in chat type hello morons ever again.
Oh, well, that's a very nice concession. Thank you.
What about the Horizon?
Cool.
Oh, there's three of them.
Got a pick.
There's four, Brenda.
There's three
I'm
horizons.
having my Narnia
There's three
Horizon.
horizons.
No, four.
Gravity is a
There's
force.
want
Density
one.
doesn't give motion, and the Earth is definitely, absolutely a globe.
That's what's known as a shit
Gravity
sandwich.
is definitely magic.
She just needs to compliment the host again to get a shit sandwich in. Otherwise, I won't tolerate
I heard
it.
a rumor. I heard a rumor that there was actually on our winning
Space-time.
Horizon as well. You
Space-time.
know.
Yes, Brenda.
Stop spreading these false rumors, Tony. No, it's called an optical slant, and it is the apparent horizon, just in a more descriptive manner.
What about a ranty win
It's
Horizon?
very
rant?
weird when we call something that's already defined as apparent.
Yeah, it's
Weird.
all good
No,
by me.
no, no,
Apparent,
but,
right?
no, but the apparent emphasizes the appearance of it. What I do is kind of describe the apparent interpretation of like how it is to the observer. That is my approach. I basically go deeper into the apparent geometrics, because they're not real geometrics, of the appearances. And that's what I do with the optical
Hey,
slant.
Arwen, you know what that's called? How things appear to a person? You know what that's called? There's a name for that.
Perspective.
It's called phenomenology.
No, it's not. It's called perspective.
Phenomenology.
got a
Okay,
question.
well, mine is
How
pretty
things-
geometrically oriented. so-
Phenomenology is
Hold
how
on.
things seem to an observer, to a subject.
Yeah,
How
but
things
perspective is
Oh,
not.
appear.
okay, okay. Yeah, I find that
Hold on,
interesting.
Liza.
Subjective.
Right, let's just stick everyone on mute. Phenomenology is the philosophical study of the structures of experience and consciousness. As a philosophical movement, it was founded in the early of the 20th century by Edmund Husserl, later expanded upon in his circle of followers at the University of Göttingen in Munich, in Germany. There you go. So it's a phenomenology is the philosophical study of the structures of experience and consciousness.
Right.
Yes, yes.
I've got a question. Quantum Eraser often quotes Andrew Young and his refraction equations. Andrew Young states that there are apparent horizons, geometric horizons, and astronomical horizons in his calculations.
In his
Is
calculation,
there a picture of that? Is there a picture of those horizons?
Hold
I
on.
need a specific picture of what's
what
apparent.
does it matter
and
what he
what's
does
a
in his
geo-
I can show
That
you
was
his
addressed to
calculations,
QE.
but I assume since you guys use Andrew Young as your posits for apparent horizons, that his calculations are true, and therefore you agree with them, which necessitates an apparent.
I can show you a
geometric and
calculation.
astronomical horizon.
I can give you a
Whoever's-
calculation at
hold on.
negative
Wait, hang on.
Let's get some control.
hang
Just one
on,
second, guys.
Hang
Is
on.
it?
Give me the,
I want the
give
guy
me
who's
the
actually
floor.
putting the claim to actually get clear air to make his claim, and then it can be addressed by who he's addressing it to, which I believe is QE. If he's around, hopefully he'll acknowledge that so we can actually hear what's being claimed once without interruption. Is it nut something or other? I've lost you now. So
John, are you
cooperative,
there?
Discord. The guy who was just talking, making the claim in Discord. What's your name, please?
Yeah, it's Nid. I just posted the link for Andrew Young, which if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure QE uses him as a reference point for refraction debates.
Did I cite it?
The question.
Horizon on there.
Did I cite it, Crayon Muncher? You don't know the difference between citations and references. You're a fuckwit. We got some on the panel here, too, that I'm going to deal with.
Crying about?
Can you back off your mic a little bit when you do, though?
Fucking shit. You fucking retards.
Does he or does he not use Andrew Young as a reference?
What did I just say?
I'll just give you a response again, QE. He asked if he had cited that specific part you referenced. So you said about the horizon being not actual based on refraction. Has QE actually cited that?
My claim is that if QE uses Andrew Young as the be-all, end-all for refraction, then he
hold on,
has to
QE.
assume Andrew Young's calculations are correct, which assumes apparent astronomical and geometric horizon.
So has he cited that?
He has used Andrew Young as a reference point for debates.
It's not the answer to the fucking question.
Okay, now that you've said that, he uses Andrew Young as a reference. So, if, for example, I cite Neil deGrasse Tyson with the following quote, "That stuff is flat," end quote, does that mean that because I've used a heliocentric priest, that his equations when it comes to dark matter I also believe in? Is that the standard?
In your example, no.
So, given that there is no specific citation from QE where he uses the refraction that Mr. Young uses, that would be refraction of the R-based value, of course. He hasn't actually cited that particular part of his work, but you want to hold him to account on that part of his work when he hasn't cited that, correct?
That part of his work is contingent on the base assumption of 3 different horizons, so yes.
Well, you're a retard then. Do you get that?
It's the difference between references and citations. I mean, sorry, it's just.
Thank you for exposing yourself.
It's no point.
What's your name again, so everyone can hear it?
The nut
name.
Again, do you or do you not use Andrew Young?
Name. What's your name? I already explained it to you. You're a fucking clown. You don't know the difference between references and citations. Obviously.
I never mentioned.
That means.
Citation. I mentioned reference.
This means that you haven't graduated high school recently, and you never, ever been to fucking university. Ever. So thank you. What's your name again?
No, you didn't say anything about citations, but he
What's
asked you
your
about
name again?
citations. And
I'm
you
sorry.
referenced. You
I'm
didn't
not
say
talking to you.
anything.
What's your name again?
The NID.
What's your name again?
It's the NID hug. NIDHUGG. It's the difference between a citation and a reference.
Who is claiming citations?
Nathan, this guy is saying something, right? But he doesn't realize that Thomas Andrew Young defines a geometric horizon as purely theoretical construct, not anything you can see. So what's he really saying then?
You can see a geometric horizon. Obviously, I would never cite that from Mr. Young on account of the fact that if I hold a golf ball in front of my face, the fact that it's a geometric construct doesn't mean I can't see the edge of the golf ball. That's preposterously absurd. But obviously, I don't hold true everything this Muppet heliocentrist says. That would be absurd. But there are certain things that assist our argument that we can take and use him as a hostile witness. It's really fun, because he's a heliocentrist. So obviously, if we cite specific parts of his rhetoric that highlight the contradictions within his rhetoric, we will do so. It doesn't automatically mean that everything else on his bloody website we hold to be true. For example, when he talks about how horizons are formed using terrestrial refraction in his example when describing apparent horizons. No. We don't beg the question of R or hold his assumption in his explanation on his website of refraction that's based on R to be true. But of course, if you bundle everything he's ever said into a single citation that QE's used once and say that, well, you've got to defend everything this man now says in his reference, well, that's preposterous and demonstrates that you don't have an education, as QE's pointed out, to a university level and haven't recently graduated from high school. Or you'd realise that this is a very preposterous assertion that having cited somebody for something specific, that everything in the reference suddenly becomes your business to justify. It doesn't.
Somebody play the pantomime globe
If it
for me for
pertains to
just
the
2
subject
minutes.
matter, it does. He has used Andrew Young to cite apparent
You're a
horizons and
fucking
denounced
moron. You're already
He's saying the same
exposed.
thing.
Andrew Young.
He's so fucking dumb that he's going to repeat the same shit. What, 4 more times? They get into the more stupid ones of these. Get into this rut. When they get obliterated and shown to be stupid, they get into this like stuck record. It's like an instinct. Bang! Go into the same groove of asserting the same shit 5 more times. Because somehow that'll make me seem less stupid. We've heard you, mate. We heard you the first time. We tried to point out you don't know the difference between citations and references. Then we heard you the second time and tried to educate you on the difference. Now we're pointing out how fucking stupid you're sounding. Maybe repeat again that his equations are based on what he think horizons are. Because obviously we're deaf, right? We haven't heard you say it 5 times.
Deaf or
Clown.
ignorant, one of the two. Again, I've never claimed citation.
Again.
I've never claimed
dude.
citation. What is a citation?
What is it?
Uh-oh.
Okay, what's a
Meaning
reference?
of words.
You've used a word. You said reference. What's a
He
reference?
said a quote. He said it's a quote.
A quote
Quote-
isn't a
it's not even
citation.
quote.
No, a citation's not a quote. A quote's a quote. That's why they call it a quote. They're different words.
This is a
Look,
joke.
we're dealing with
And-
dumb fucks.
and
Who is
Thomas
this?
Young-
I'm sick of this, right? It's getting my blood pressure up. Right, the nut hug. Understand this. He put himself on deafen, so he can't hear me telling him how stupid it. Really, that's the way to get my blood pressure.
Why
even
bother
higher.
with him, Nathan? Why bother?
Because I like berating
A
these
random
idiots.
retard that heard a word and thought he could use it as a weapon without even looking into what it means.
Tell him to fuck off.
Yeah, that's how I was going to do. Is put himself on server deafen, so he can't hear me berating him.
Got more important things to do, like presenting my thing.
It's been on screen for ages, Ranty. I'm so sorry.
Well, before you present your thing,
Oh,
before
God.
you present your thing,
Have you had your breakfast?
yeah, I just ate it. We got other business.
Not right now.
With
Let's
the
get
other
it.
3
Seeing
guys.
as we're on. Seeing as we're
I just shut up.
No.
Hold on,
point.
Ranty. Don't poke the bear. Just let him, Ranty. He's going to get infuriated otherwise. Go ahead, Q.
You done laughing, clown?
No, I can laugh a lot more if you want.
Yeah, that's all you do. Laugh a lot more for us.
You are funny.
You know, put your jester hat on too for us.
Right,
You are
get on
pretty
with
funny.
it.
Clowns.
Look, there's a serious
Back to
issue
the
that's going to
topic.
get brought up here, right? I want you. The point he's moaning about you laughing is because he wants to tell you something serious. It's a serious issue, and he wants you to treat it as such. But I just
he
don't want
wants
everyone with
his-
high
he
blood
demands
pressure
to
because
come
you're
in,
laughing about
even
it
though
before
I've
it's
been on
even
screen for the past 10 minutes.
or
he
so
wa- he
triggered that
wants
you need
come
to
in and
interrupt
bang
the
his drum.
disclaimer. I know you've been on screen, and I'm saying there's something
Yeah,
that's
but
been
he wants
brought
to
up
come in and bang
prior.
his drum. Hello, John's here. Let's everybody stop because John's here.
No, this is it's an ongoing issue, Ranty. I know you're frustrated. You will get to do your presentation. On the other hand, this is old business, and it's been brought up with me before, and I know what's coming. So I brought it up and prefaced it on the show. So I know you've got a presentation, but honestly, you'll understand when he starts going, hopefully without you all laughing and rumpusing him, why it's serious and why it needs addressing now. But we will get to your presentation. I haven't forgotten you. I'm sorry that it's going to get cut off for this, and I promise we will come to it.
I just had one statement. It wasn't that long. I just wanted to round out by saying that we don't need Andrew Thomas Young for geometry. He isn't the point of contact for geometry, right? That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Right.
And Ranty, you stop sharing now.
If I may, oh, sorry.
No, don't you dare, Arwin. I knew you were going to do that.
Very short. I wanted
No,
to add to the
you bastard.
conversation.
No, and you know you're doing it too.
Okay,
Don't
fine.
do this, Arwin. You know what you're doing. Ranty, go ahead if you can present your screen again.
Right, so I want someone to play a pantomime global with me. So who's going to volunteer? Well, all of you can actually.
Arwin
Tell me
can.
where's the horizon.
I
Right,
volunteer, Arwin.
Arwin, show me. Tell me where's the horizon in this image. If this is the sky and this is the sea, can you tell me where the horizon is, please?
I don't know. This is not a 3D image.
Play along, Nathan.
It's not
Play
actual.
along.
Look,
Well, I can think of the horizon being where the sky meets the supposed water.
just
if
play
that's what
along.
it
Where on the
represents.
butt plug is the horizon?
About there, would you say?
Sure.
Okay, right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you that we have an object here that we can see, and we have another object here that we can see, and that this horizon is beyond these platforms where the horizon should be before the platforms. So now can you tell me where is the horizon?
Still the same place.
No, you've got to play a globe head.
You mean the
to invent
geometric
one.
horizon?
Just invent
Well, that
one.
depends on what you're going to be presupposing you're looking at.
Well,
I'll
that's
tell
all the
you.
information you're going to
Let me
get.
tell him, Ranty. You're presupposing there's a massive ball obstruction only about a mile away from you.
Okay. Well, then I can't see this. I'm going to close my eyes now.
Good answer.
And that's the point. That is the point. The point is that they will then try to claim there's two horizons. Well, where's the first one? Oh,
Yeah,
well, I
or
need
it's
to go
just
to
R.
I need to go to a curve calculator now that's going to tell me where I see a horizon. Even though we only ever see one horizon that you put in. You put in that horizon. And just because I told you that these images are in front of that horizon, now suddenly there's a second horizon, but you can't tell me where it is, because what you'll need to do is go to a curve calculator that will tell you it's at 1.22 miles away, and then you will have a guess and say that it's somewhere down here.
I don't know. You know, if the Earth was a globe, then you would always be standing on a curve and looking down. So, but yeah, whatever.
And that's the point with this image over
Hold
here.
on. That was a good point, Arwin. Correct, Arwin. If it's a globe, it's got a geometric horizon. It's just a necessity of being on a globe. Absolutely correct.
Yeah, but it's not. The Earth is so not a globe that I even find it annoying to try to imagine what it would be like on a globe at this point, because I'm pretty damn sure that it's not a globe.
We all got this at the when we were doing Isle of Man, and I was screaming at Rumpus. So there's a 140-foot wall between me and this observation, and obviously there isn't one. Now, we didn't recognise that we were saying, well, we've only got one horizon. Obviously, that's a totally different phraseology now. But back then, we recognised that this absurd notion of having a wall between you and something you look at in the distance is completely absurd. Well, with this image, not only is it absurd to assume that you've got a wall between you and it when you've got a physical horizon, White Swan Day. In this instance, this disproves the notion that you've got a geometric horizon. Once you have this image, that's why it's the black swan. You never ever need to argue about the horizon being geometric ever again. Ever. Dead. It's never going to be capable of being defined that way, because that isn't what the horizon is. And this simply proves it. Now, the fact that they've claimed until now that, well, no, it's a geometric physical obstruction, it's the edge of your sphere, it's where the boats are going. The fact that they claim that to now is irrelevant. The horizon isn't what it needs to be for the Earth to be a sphere. That's why this is so devastating. As soon as people get that, they'll win their arguments every time. We don't have a physical leading edge for a sphere horizon. That's what it needs. We haven't got one. That's it. Game over.
They'll still assert their R-based refraction, their fictional refraction, though.
No.
So they'll keep on just saying that, yeah, it's normally you could see it because the conditions allow you to see the globe as is. But yeah, at a lot of times it would all be bending flat, even though they can't even emulate such process.
No, wrong, Arwin. You can't bend
Perception.
flat the geometric horizon. So the starting tenets of their model is that we have a geometric horizon.
I know.
Just don't interrupt, Arwin. You don't have to nod along. It's for the audience. I know you know. But you're cutting my mic, aren't you, by telling me you know while I'm trying to tell the audience? Thanks. So, yeah, the model, the starting tenets, if you listen to Ranty's presentation, 90-minute presentation from Rumpus yesterday, he spends a good chunk of the first section of the presentation detailing the necessity for a geometric horizon. Something we don't have. Well, for me in the chat, I'm like, this is where the argument dies. It's typical now. Once you've got to the crux of their argument and how it's formulated, with someone like Rumpus, he's always got the same MO. He discloses the devastating bit early. Well, in that case, he starts detailing how the geometric horizon works in the model. We don't have a geometric horizon. Game over. It's that simple and quick.
Right, but they will then instead, this was what my point was about, they will then instead say, okay, well, if the R-based refractions are in a certain type of way, yeah, you will no longer be able to see a geometric horizon, only the apparent horizon, because it's all being fantastically loomed into a flat plane.
Okay,
but
stop.
People
stop,
will...
Stop,
can I finish
stop.
my point,
Arwin,
please?
just let it be
Can
educational.
I finish my point,
Arwin,
please? You finish your point.
No, we need Arwin's endless diatribe of word salad rather than a decent educational process for the audience, yeah, because Arwin's fucking word salad over the top of me is what everybody needs. He was being useful to the point where he decides to insert his endless fucking word salad over the top of it. Yeah, so at the point that he's concisely summarised their point, that it's looming over at R-based refraction rates. No, that's an impossibility, because then you're describing an effect of refraction. There's something that we can qualify in actuality, and looming doesn't loom the horizon. You can't loom the physical geometric edge above itself. Also, the moment it is being loomed, according to them, even if you accept it, it stops being geometric. And their model necessitates a geometric horizon. So both ways they're screwed. As soon as they loom it, it stops being geometric. When they say they can loom it, they can't. That's not an effect of looming. It's a law of non-contradiction violation. You can't loom the horizon above the horizon. So when they say it's just looming to give us the black swan image, that doesn't explain it either.
I'm going to apologise to John there for snapping his head off. I guess I've had a hangover from last night. We're dealing with all those Globers that were on, especially Rumpus for 4 hours, and the lines blur between friend and foe. So I was a little bit grumpy there. So I apologise.
With who?
With Quantum Eraser.
Oh, did you get? I didn't see that.
Right, about 10 minutes ago, I snapped his head off.
Yeah, you were just laughing.
No, about the presentation. Unless I was on mute and I had a rage and it wasn't heard.
I don't know. Maybe I'm taking acid, but I didn't hear that.
That would be an apparent rage.
So if nobody heard the rage, then I take it all back.
That's a not actual rage, Ranty.
I was working. I heard you saying something about a presentation, but I couldn't pick it up.
Oh no, I was almost throwing things at the TV and ripping John's head off at one point.
Wow.
I could have had it on mute. It was on mute, obviously.
Here's the problem the Globers have, and Thomas and Young even has. It is the fact that they are having to use the radius of 3959 as hard math. And when we showed that picture of 1 foot observer height, the horizon cannot be further than 1.23 miles. So this is where they realize it's the geometric horizon isn't something you can actually observe. It's a thought experiment. And this is what Andrew Young means when he says geometric horizon. He can't match it to the math of the globe, So it's a thought experiment whenever he talks about it. And people don't realize that's what he means by it. Because if it was a globe, you could measure it, but since it isn't, you can't. So it's just the apparent horizon. They lose 10 ways to Sunday on this.
Exactly. The globe itself must have a geometric horizon. But because we don't, they conceptualize it. And having listened back to my argument with Rumpus about just this, at one stage Rumpus says the geometric horizon is derived from the optical horizon. And I wish I'd have caught it in the moment, because it's like, yeah, isn't that exactly our argument? You don't have a physical sphere edge, you don't have a geometry, but you're going to derive one from the observable reality that we experience. So we don't have a geometric edge, but you can extrapolate one out from the not actual location that we do experience. And he essentially admitted it to it. Our geometric horizons derived from the not actual horizon.
I remember hearing that. I think you did catch him on that, didn't you?
I don't think I did in the moment, no. Anyway, I think that'll be the point to round out this after show. So with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the very tolerant G Plus panel who've put up with me having to fight devil's advocate with them. Arwin for getting shouted at when I want to make an educational point. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the Discord panel for making this interactive part of the show possible. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. And again, a massive thank you to all of you in the Nathan Oakley audience for hopefully liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!